Alright, hi everybody. Welcome to my ultimate gearing guide for BDO. The first thing that I want to do, honestly, is pause my music. There we go. First thing I want to do is go over DR versus evasion. Okay, I want to go over DR versus evasion and explain the difference between them. Okay. Okay. So, first thing. DR is damage reduction. There are really only two build paths in BDO that are actually feasibly viable. Some people do try to go for a hybrid of these two builds, but really understanding what they are can help you choose what you want to do for your class. Okay, damage reduction means that you are actually just going to take all damage. Okay, this is how you need to think of it. Okay, you take all damage. Okay, but that damage does less. Okay, so like everything hits you, but it all does less damage overall. Evasion is basically dodge attacks. Either it all hits you, or it... Okay, does that make sense? So, evasion is just straight your dodging attacks, okay? Like, in terms of a defensive status. And, like, either the attacks are actually just going to hit you, it's all or nothing. Either the attacks hit you, or they miss you, okay? Now, keep in mind that skills in BDO have multiple hits on them. So, like, they can miss, like, 5 of the hits and then hit the other 6, but then you don't take any damage from all 5 hits. Damage reduction, if the skill's got 11 hits, you're going to take all 11 hits, okay? But they're all going to do reduced damage, okay? All right, that's like the small or like the dumbed down version of the difference between these two builds. Different classes have different passives which make them better at different things, and so you need to build one way or the other based on what class you like the most. Okay, so damage reduction. One overarching theme you're going to see a lot with damage reduction is health pool. Health pool is very important for a DR build. Why? Because everything is hitting you, okay? But like, if you have a really big health pool and everything's hitting you, you get more use out of your DR before you hit 0 than you would if you had a small health pool. Okay, does that make sense? You really want a lot of health in a DR build. Okay. Okay, so you want health pool. Okay. In evasion, we're going to see a different theme. Okay. Want lots of evasion. We don't care. We just want a lot of evasion. Health pool is less important. Okay, we really just want to... Well, don't you want a lot of DR in a DR build? Well, obviously, but health is actually more valuable than the DR is a lot of times. Okay, evasion is able to sacrifice DR for more damage. Okay, this is very important. This is super important. Because an evasion build relies entirely on just dodging the attack, you don't need very much damage reduction in that build until you get way to the late game. And then you're like, okay, well, I could use some DR, right? But like, really, you can sacrifice a lot of DR to get more damage. Damage reduction builds in BDO are going to have you building these things called Beg's Gloves. Let's get into what a damage reduction build in BDO might look like. Okay, so there's Beg's Gloves, Uragon Shoes right here, okay? Typically people go with the Griffin's helmet, but you can go with Gaius. We'll discuss the difference in a second here. And we'll put a dim tree here for now. I'll put a red nose here. Nobody ever goes dim tree anymore for reasons that I will discuss. Okay. This is what a standard damage reduction build looks like. Okay. Beg's Gloves and Uragon Shoes. Okay. Now, there are stats in BDO called accuracy. So you'll notice that Beg's Glove has accuracy on it. So if I put the Begs at pen, they get 50 accuracy. Okay, that's kind of a lot of damage. Now let's look at the evasion build. If we want to go for Liebers and Muskin Shoes, because this is the evasion route, you'll notice that we have way less accuracy. There's only 25 accuracy on a Liebers gloves. So understand that when you go for evasion, you're going to sacrifice accuracy in your gloves that you're going to have to try to make up for in the rest of your build. Okay, so like a lot of times people will just say you should just go DR because it's going to be higher damage. This is exactly what they're talking about. Okay, now evasion, however, can do something like this. We can go for distortion earrings Okay, what Distortion Earrings do is they give you AP, like lots of AP plus 18, and then you lose 4 damage reduction. Okay, minus 4 DR. Flat out, it's sheet DP. Your DP just goes down by 4 when it's at 10. Okay, and you get 14 accuracy though, so it's a lot more accuracy. Okay, you're losing some DR, but you don't care because you're an evasion build. You don't really care if your DR gets lower, so that kind of works out for you. So like ultimately, like both build sets like to run Distortion Earrings at some point. Is there any way to clear this? I can just hit X. There we go. Okay, good. But just understand that the DR build is just going to have more damage across the board, while the evasion build is probably going to feel tankier into the late game for most people. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that health pool is not an important thing for an evasion build, but we're going to go through what an early game player is going to have to do early on. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to get this stuff called Naru gear. Okay. This stuff is really easy to put to pen. Do not use fail stacks on this stuff. Okay. Do not use any fail stacks on your Naru gear. Okay. Also, do not enhance Naru accessories. That is a waste of time. Okay. So don't do that either. Oh, I put the wrong gloves in there. You get these from doing the main storyline as you go, and you will get these things called beginner blackstones to enhance them. At the end of the, if you don't have enough, you're like, oh, I don't have very much beginner blackstones. At the end of the Medaya questline, you get like an infinite amount, so everything will get to pen. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Okay. Do not. They're going to give you Naru accessories. That is a trap. Do not put those on. Do not try and enhance them. Don't bother with them. They're a waste of time. Okay. You are, however, going to do, anytime they give you Tuvala accessories, you should put those on. Okay. At the end of the Medaya questline, once you get your Naru to pen, you'll have Naru gear on your. Now I'm just using a witch here, but this goes for any class in the game so far. Okay. This goes for any class in the game. So this is what your gear is going to look like. Is there no Naru? There's no Naru awakening weapon. You just get it from the awakening questline. We'll put an Archili in here. An Archili, because you can get that from the Valencia quest, I believe. There we go. Okay. Do not cron your Naru. Yeah, do not cron your Naru. Do not enhance your Naru. Okay, so do not enhance your Naru accessories. You only put on Tuvala accessories, which you will get naturally as you do the main storyline and you start leveling up. You're going to get Tuvala accessories. Okay, so I'm just going to put Tuvala in each of these slots here for us. This is where you're going to be at the end of the Medaya questline. So when you start the game, keep going through the quest. You're going to get something. You're going to get like this. Okay, Caphras stone. That's really good too. All right. Necklace, again, this is going to be a Tuvala necklace. Okay. And then this is going to be a Tuvala belt. Okay. Once you are at the end of the Medaya questline and your Naru starts hitting these pen levels here, which is really easy to do not use fail stacks, don't use cronstones, you just click them straight up with the beginner blackstones, no big deal. And if you want the pro tip, you're going to get a lot of beginner blackstones. Okay. You're going to get a lot of them. You can enhance multiple pieces of Naru gear to pen with your beginner blackstones. Okay? You're like, well, why would I need more than 3 or 4? Like, why do I need more than 1 set of pen Naru gloves? Because your Naru can be turned directly into Pry Tuvala. The game should prompt you for it. When you hit pen Naru, it should like ask you if you want to turn it into Tuvala, and you should do that. Okay, so at this point, you're going to have Tuvala, Pry Tuvala around the board. Go Tuvala here. Okay, let's go Tuvala here. Okay, and then this is going to be Tuvala here. Okay, because again, this stuff just turns from your inventory, just turns into it. You just click a button, no big deal. So now you're here. If you try to enhance these, they're going to lose durability. Okay. And when that durability hits 0, normally what the game wants you to do is they want you to use Tuvala or to gas it back up. Okay? Or like more of the same thing, basically, to gas it the hell back up. Maybe it's not Tuvala or it's Tuvala. It's the oh gosh, what are those stones called? What are those stones called? What are the purple stones called? Time-filled stones. Time-filled stones. So there are stones that you can get. we go. Right here. They look like this. They look like this. Okay. It's ore to repair. Okay, so it's ore to repair. These are what you use to click your Tuvala gear. You will get these for just grinding normal mobs. Okay. And then the Tuvala ore, which looks like this. God, where? Okay. There has to be Tuvala ores. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, so there's these Tuvala ore. Okay, so this is what you use to click them. This is what you use to gas them up. So, like, it's going to lose durability every time you fail on it. Okay? It's going to lose durability every time you fail. And you put the durability back in with Tuvala ore. Okay? Or you can guaranteed click it to try, which this is what I recommend. If you have refined magical stones, you should just guarantee click it to try. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Okay? So, like, if you have these, use them. If not, you're just going to gas up with Tuvala ore anyway, so just bear that in mind. However, this is where my method comes in handy. Instead of gassing these back up, if you make like 5 or 6 pairs of gloves, because you're going to have a lot of extra pairs or a lot of extra beginner blackstones, okay? Don't waste those. Use your beginner blackstones to make more pen Naru, and then turn that pen Naru into more pry Tuvala, okay? And then when one runs out, just throw it away. Don't even bother gassing it up, and just put the next one in there. All right? Like, so, like, you can save yourself a lot of materials, especially Tuvala ore, by using this method. Okay? So, like, use all your beginner blackstones to get a bunch of extra pry armors. Okay? Or weapons, I guess, in this case. And then whenever your weapon runs out of durability, just put the next one in there and don't even bother gassing the other one up. Okay? Until you run out. Once you're out of beginner blackstones and you don't have pen Tuvala, okay, well, then on your last piece, then you do have to enhance with the ore and stuff, okay? Can you explain why it's unfair for the top ranked guild to fight mid-ranked guilds on capped? Like health pool, elixirs, comps, and all that jazz. Seems like a ton of people have weird thoughts on capped that make it fair. Yeah, see, that's the fun thing about capped PvP and BDO. It's not fair. Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah. So it's not meant to be fair. Yeah, you're just meant to lose. Okay. All right, so now we understand how to hit our Tuvala. Okay. At this point, you should be through the Medaya questline, working on the Valencia questline. And, like, as you work your way through the Valencia questline, you're going to grind Valencia mobs, which are going to give you seasonal enhancement gear. We're going to skip ahead to when all of your Tuvala gear hits pen. Okay? When all of your Tuvala gear hits pen, which shouldn't take a crazy amount of time if you do your Rift Echoes and all that other stuff. Okay. Keep in mind, for hitting level 60, you get a pen Tuvala ring, and hitting level 61, I think, you get a pen Tuvala earring. So, like, they're just giving you some of this stuff for free. All right. So now we're full pen Tuvala. At this point, you're going to get a Bronte's Bolt? Not yet. We haven't actually gotten to the Odalita questline yet. Okay, in fairness. Okay. You're going to get... you should have artifacts at this point, and you can just put in... if you want to throw an iridescent in, that's great, but, like... it's predation. You just put a bunch of predations in your gear that gives you damage to mobs, because at this point, you're not really worried about PvP. Okay. Alright, so this is what your gear should look like at this point. Okay. At this point, you should be all the way through all of the quest lines in the game. Valencia, Odalita, Kama Sylvia, all that good... Drigan, all that good stuff. Finish all of those quest lines up. All right. When you finish the Odalita quest line, you get this thing called the Bronte's Bolt. Okay. This is a really good earring, but, like, I don't really recommend you wear it. Like, when you're early on, you don't really care about this accuracy. You should keep it because you might need it for later game, but you really don't need it. Like, for now, you just kind of want to keep your Tuvala earrings and stuff on. Don't even worry about it. Okay. Don't even worry about it. Okay. So now you're finished with the whole main storyline. You're ready to go here. What do you do next? Okay, this is like a big question for a lot of players. Okay, the first thing you're gonna do. These are your adventure logs. Okay, these are one-time quests that you have to do, and then your whole family gets the buff. Okay. And by the way, when I say all of the quest lines are done, you should also be finished with the Magnus. So you should also have a 10 piece of armor. And when the Magnus asks you which one you want to get what's called the red nose chest piece. It's going to give you this for free. So get the red nose chest piece. I will explain why later. You know what? I'll explain why right now. Because if you take Dim Tree, you have to put these things called Caphras in your gear. And the Dim Tree requires way more Caphras to get to C10, which is what you need to get your Dead God later. Okay, so it's going to cost more money if you pick the Dim Tree. But if you pick Red Nose, it'll cost less money. So make sure you just pick the Red Nose, okay? You won't be able to put it on yet because you haven't graduated yet, okay? That being said, your Magnus is done. Amazing, awesome. Now you're going to do your adventure logs. Just pound through your adventure logs, okay? There is only one that you don't need to do, and it's the quest one, right? Don't do the Papu one. Okay, you know what? This is what your adventure log bookshelf looks like. You hit escape, click on adventure logs. Igor Bartali's is probably the most important one. Okay. My God, bro. Why do they have all these event logs you don't need to worry about? The Land of the Morning Light one is really important because that one you get for just doing the Land of the Morning Light quest line. No big deal. I will say that there's an extra one here. Yeah, this Dokebi chest one. This is kind of rough, but like there's guides that will show you where every single chest is, so it's going to take you a few hours, and it's going to be kind of rough, but you just work through it with thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Where's Deeves? Where is Deeves? Okay, well, Deeves is in here somewhere. You don't need to do the Crow Merchants. This one you don't need to do. Okay. Okay. Events you don't need to do. This one is Deeves. There we go. Shikatu Merchants. All right, you got to do this one. Got to do Shikatu Merchants. Got to do Igor Bartali's. Got to do the Land of the Morning Light ones. This one you don't need to do. The Eyes of Adventure. Nope. And then the Old Moon logs. This is your Agris, isn't it? I believe this is your Agris. Or no, this is Pavino Greco's. Never mind. It is Agris, and you got to do these. These are very important. Unlocking Agris early on is important. So once you finish the main story and stuff, Agris. This one only takes a few minutes though. This is not very hard. Okay. Pavino Greco's logs are really, really good. And they give you 24-hour drop rate buffs, and they give you permanent HP buffs for your family. Like 600 HP. Or something. Okay. Old Moon logs are new, different ones. No, it says Pavino Greco. Yeah, that's all Pavino Greco. Herald's Journal you have to do. The Book of Margahan is the Agris. So yeah, you have to do all of the Old Moon logs, all of Igor Bartali's, all of the Shikatu Merchants, all of the Land of the Morning Lights. Don't have to do these, don't have to do these. I think the... Never mind. These will get Eyes of the Adventure. These are the Dokebi chests. Yeah, the Eyes of the Adventures are the Dokebi chests. These are the logs that you finish for doing Land of the Morning Lights. There you go. But you basically got to pound through all of your adventure logs next. Okay. So I'm basically just going to... Okay. I hate the Papu log, but it does give you a DP. Okay. So anything on this list that gives you sheet stats, you should do. Okay. Anything on this list that gives you sheet stats, you should do. Okay. The only ones that you don't have to do are like there's these quest one where every time you do a quest, the adventure log goes up. You don't have to worry about that one. That's just like over the course of your account. If you do more quests, you get more rewards. Don't even bother with that one. The Papu thing's the Kama questline reward. Yeah, so like some of these will be done right away, but make sure you do your adventure logs next. Once you've got your Tuvala, you need to bang out all of your adventure logs. Okay, now we're going to go back to the hard part. Okay. The next thing that you need to do is now you got to make the decision. Am I going to go damage reduction or am I going to go evasion? Okay, this is the big one for a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to go through all of the classes right now and tell you exactly which ones are DR and which ones are evasion. Okay, some of them will land in the middle slot. Some of them will land in the middle slot. Okay, in other words, you could build either or. You could build either or. Okie dokie. Witch and Wizard are both like you could build DR or Evasion on them. You know what? Maybe I should just like type it. Okay. So we're gonna do damage reduction list. Here's the evasion list. And could do either list. Okay. All right. Okay. Could be either. Could be either. So honestly, okay, that's what I've got the either column for. We're paying attention, Blue. I will say that most wizards and witches, especially the succession ones, go DR because they get more damage for going DR, and it's primarily a ranged class. Usually on ranged classes, you go DR just because it's going to give you extra accuracy. You're not seeing combat anyway, you're just shooting them from off the screen. It doesn't really matter very much. So, like, most of them are going to go DR. In the Awakening form, Wizard and Witch are tankier with evasion. I've done both. However, again, you do more damage with the DR build. So, like, I was a DR Witch for like a year or so. That was like really good. Like, it felt really good. But like, I will say that Wizard definitely feels, Awakening Wizard particularly feels a lot tankier with evasion. And then they have an evasion buff on their class buff that gives them 12% evasion. So like, it's doable. So if you're going to play Succession, do DR. If you're going to play only Awakening, play evasion. If you're going to do both, do DR. Okay. You're like, oh, well, I want to play Awakening in PvE and then Succession for PvP. DR. Okay. Ooh, I view online, you disliking my mentor CAD games too. What up? So when you learn how to spell, you will start to understand why we don't like CAD so much. Okay. All right, next class is Shy. Shy is an evasion class, and only an evasion class. You don't build DR on Shy. Okay. If you just have it as a tag, it's probably okay. If you're just doing PvE, okay, DR Shy is going to be okay, but Shy is definitely an evasion class, okay? Dark Knight. Dark Knight's a DR class. They are a class that scales very well with accuracy, okay? And so having that extra accuracy on the bags helps them tremendously. Just to do more damage, it helps them do what they're best at even better. So like, just bear in mind that like all of those, like Dark Knight Awakening is definitely better with DR. You could technically make a case for evasion Dark Knight in Succession, but it's just not. All of the best Dark Knights are going to tell you to do DR. SpongeBob online with the resub 2 minutes ago, and Lockstock PvP with the brand new Prime sub. Lockstock, thanks so much, buddy. I really appreciate that brand new Prime sub. And then Sponge online, thank you so much. Taiku, hey girl. Everybody coming over from Taiku's stream, how you doing? Did we get the shout out for Taiku going? Guys, turn that purple follow button into a green button. Taiku is a VTuber who plays Succession Ranger and is a super gamer at it. Okay, let's get back to it. What are we on? Was this a Mewa? Okay, so wait, no, that's Corsair. All right, Corsair is an evasion class. Corsair has a lot of evasion passes. How do I know if my class is evasion or DR? If you mouse through your class's passives and you see a bunch of evasion stuff, whether it be on their passive, here, I'll show you. So if you hit K and you scroll down on this class passive down here, if you see a bunch of evasion down here, or maybe on your passives over here, on every class is structured like this. Okay, so if you see a bunch of evasion like this, then your class is probably an evasion class. Okay, but like, you can always just use my list here. It's always super doable. Wait, why did I just put evasion is evasion? Oh my god, I'm actually dying. Okay, this is Corsair. There we go. Mystic is an evasion class. Almost did it again. Okay, Mystic is definitely an evasion class. All right. I don't like that my list is pink and that's pink, but like everything else it works for, so fuck it. Who cares? Mystic is definitely an evasion class. If you just want to tag a Mystic and play it in PvE, you can definitely do that and have DR. But like if you're maining a Mystic and you're playing it at all in PvP, or you just main a Mystic in general and it's the character that you play all the time, you absolutely need to be an Evasion build. Okay. What else is there here? There's Meiwa. Okay, so Meiwa, I'm gonna put Meiwa and Musa in the either column, but I'll be honest with you, I really do believe that they should be like they should be here. They really should be here. Okay, so Meiwa and Musa are both close range brawlers. Meiwa trades more with frontal guards. Musa trains more with super armors, in Awakening at least. But like they do scale better with Evasion. They have some Evasion passives. They're not going to feel as good as Mystic is with Evasion. Mystic's one of the best classes in the game with Evasion, but it's still an Evasion class. You, however, could play Meiwa or Musa with DR. That is definitely doable. Definitely doable. That pink shark, I know it's turboing me. Okay, who's next? Guardian. Oh, Guardian, we have another DR class. All shield classes are DR. Guardian is definitely DR, Succession, and Awakening. Okay, so like if you love Guardian, it's DR hands down. You don't give a shit. Do not build Awakening. Or, I mean, do not build Evasion. Okay, that is stupid. Wusa. Wusa's also a DR class. You could technically play her with Evasion and trade better into enemies, but like you don't have really any Evasion passives on Wusa, so it's typically better to just build her DR. Most Wusas are going to build DR. Okay. Vessel's in shambles. Vessel is a DR Guardian. He's fine. He was an Evasion Guardian when I first met him, but we've come a long way since then. Striker! Back over to the Evasion column. Striker and Mystic are both Evasion. Okay, same thing as Mystic though. If you're just tagging him and using him in PvE, you don't really care about PvP too much, you could technically play him with DR. It's not gonna feel super great, but like in PvP or PvE, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. But like if you're maining the class, you need to build Striker Evasion. Tamer! I feel like Tamer could be built as either. Oh, oops, almost did it again. Tamer could technically be built as either. So like Corsair Awakening is DR as well. It can be built DR because you're kind of a mid-range class, but it's still got some Evasion passives that help it out a lot. So you're still, and plus you're probably going to switch to Succession for grinding a lot. So like it's better to just build the Evasion that's going to be slightly better on both things. You know what I mean? Corsair is kind of an exception, but like I would still recommend building Evasion on it. Like you could build DR because you're like, oh, I'm standing at range in PvP, but like you're going to be better with Evasion on both specs of that class. Tamer can build either. Most Tamers are probably a DR Tamer just because you're going to do more damage and you have a lot of iframes, so you might as well just do more damage. But I've seen Evasion Tamers, I've seen DR Tamers, so you don't really have to worry about it. Now, I will say that if you're on the fence, like, well, that doesn't help me. Now I don't know what to build. I would say that if you don't know either way and your class is in either column, I would definitely build DR. I would definitely build DR. Okay, because it's easier to play an Evasion class with DR than it is to play a DR class with Evasion. So, like, for example, if you build Evasion and then you decide down the road that you want to play a Guardian, you're going to have a really hard time with that. That's going to suck, right? But if you build with DR on your Guardian and then you decide later, I want to play Shy, oh, okay, well, you could technically build DR on Shy and, like, it'll feel a little bit better. You'll be fine. So if you're on the fence, build DR, okay? If you're on the fence, build DR. All right, so we're on to Valkyrie here. Valkyrie's definitely a DR class. Again, it is a shield class. Definitely build DR on that class. No question. Lots of DR, lots of health, very tanky. Very tonky. Kunoichi. Kuno is an Evasion class, but technically could be built with either. I strictly recommend that you build Kunoichi with Evasion. Okay? You could run Kuno with DR and like be like, oh, I do more damage just before you die. You won't be able to trade with anything. So like, I don't know. Like, I do think that Kuno is just strictly better with Evasion, and so is Ninja. Ninja is also much better with Evasion, but could technically still be played with DR if you really wanted to, which again is why if you're on the fence, just build DR and then you can tag whatever you want. You don't have to worry about it. Blue, if my main is DR, is it feasible to tag an Evasion class or vice versa? Oh, good. I just explained that. One more time, just in case you guys didn't hear it. If you are a DR build and you want to play an evasion class, you can do any of these with DR. They're going to be not as good as if you had an evasion build, but you could technically do any of them with DR. Especially if it's just PvE, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. This way, however, this no work. This no work as well. Okay, so, okay. You said accuracy scales well with Dark Knight. Can you elaborate? So Dark Knight has really good accuracy modifiers on all of its skills, and it already has 100% crit on everything in the Awakening form. Okay, so everything already has 100% crit. So you're worried about crit damage, and you can build AP, AP, AP. You don't really want to be focused on Dark Knight on building like accuracy in other parts of your build until like the really late game. Like really late game, which we will get into. So like you need to basically rely on the accuracy that is in your build, and then you can just pump AP with everything because you can lean on that accuracy that you've already built. And by the way, evasion DK doesn't have any evasion passive, so it's not really making you any tankier. You're just a fart in the wind. You're just dead. Okay, you're just dead. Forgot Megan. No, I'm just going down my class list here. Okay, so Sork. All right, so most Sorks play evasion. But this is an either class. Okay. Okay. Sorceress has enough iframes that it can technically be built as either. I would say most of the good Sorks in the game definitely play evasion. But like I've definitely seen a lot of Sorks that play with DR, so you don't really have to worry about that on Sork. Okay. All right. Ranger. It is a primarily ranged class, which means you don't necessarily have to get near your opponent. You're building DR. Okay, Rangers build DR, just like archers do, for the same reason. Okay. Because you don't have any evasion passives really on Ranger that you're like super fucking concerned about, and then also, again, you're ranged, so you don't really have to get up close to trade with people, so you just really want more damage. Like you're a ranged class, you want more damage. DR has more damage. But Awakening, I would still say DR is better. What does Flannels run? He runs DR. So you need to run DR on Awakening Ranger. There you go. Easiest fact check of my life. Okay. Lawn. Lawn is an evasion class. However, God, why do I keep doing this? Lawn is an evasion class, but it can be built with either, technically. Flannels doesn't have gear. You can't try. He definitely has gear. Okay. However, you can definitely play Lawn with either. I'm going to put him in the either column. All right. So most of the Lawns that I knew, like Isrelia and I think Ham too. I think Ham runs DR. I'm pretty sure that Ham 4504 runs DR. Let me see. He's running DR. Okay. So Ham 4x4, who's the best Lawn in the world, runs DR on his Succession Lawn. Awakening, you can definitely make a case for evasion as Relia. He also runs DR, so okay, okay. So like, but Lawn has evasion passive, so you could technically, if you have an evasion build and you want to play Lawn, evasion is just fine on Lawn. I will say if you're min-maxing, DR is fine. That's what most of the Lawns do. I'm gonna put it in the either column because it's technically, it can be built as either, okay? I think that's fair. Berserker! Succession Lawn has an evasion passive. Exactly. So they both have evasion passives, but they're not like crazy good. So like most people just do the DR anyway. So like you can play it with both. Again, I would lean towards DR if you're going to choose. That way you can tag other stuff and not have to worry about it. Grim, thanks so much for that raid, buddy. Hey, everybody coming up from Grim Stream. I hope you're having a good one. We're doing an ultimate gearing guide, and I am explaining which build path we need to choose for which class in the game. Grim Candy is a super gamer. You guys should go click that follow button on him. Really good at the game. Tags a lot of classes. Okay. Berserker is not technically a shield class because it doesn't have a shield, but it likes a big health pool. It likes DR, okay? So you need to go DR on Zerker, okay? I go DR on Lawn to meet the required damage for bombing purposes. Yeah, so like, but again, you could play it with evasion though, because it has evasion passives on it. It's not bad to play it with evasion at all. But like, they play it with DR to try to min-max. All right, Warrior. These are the Giga Chads of the BDO community. Warrior is a DR class. They are a shield class. Most of the shield classes are Giga Chads, if I'm being honest. That's a Witch, Valkyrie. This is a Nova. Nova is also a DR class. Okay. Blue, do you want a copy of the character hit rate make sheet? I don't know what that is. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, so Nova's a DR class because, again, it's a shield class. Awakening or Succession, you definitely want DR. Succession is definitely a lot more tanky, but... Okay, so Sage is one of these classes that you can build as either. Okay, however, I've seen people get really positive results with Evasion Sage because they can trade better, because Sage is pretty slow moving overall, and every other movement is SA, so you have to trade a little bit. And so I see a lot of people getting better results with Evasion Sage. However, you can run DR on Sage because it has a lot of iframes, and you can definitely get away with it. If you're really good and like want to try to min-max, and you'll do more damage in PvE, etc. KJGG with the brand new Prime sub, buddy. Nothing makes you wetter than a brand new Prime sub. Thanks, man. We got the wet floor sounds out just in case. Safety first. You can 2-tap people with 1200 Evasion Sage. Yeah, so Sage, a lot like Dark Knight, it actually has the highest accuracy passives in the game, I believe. And so you don't really need a whole lot of accuracy. So a lot of people will just say, okay, screw this. It's even got more accuracy than DK does. Okay. A lot of people will say, just screw it. We're just going to go Evasion and try to trade better. But like, I've also seen a lot of Sage take the Dark Knight approach where they go for the DR. So like, you could technically do either. Yeah, it's an iframe. Yeah. So like, it's a big iframe class. So like, technically you could build both. I've seen people with more success on Evasion, but that might change patch to patch. Make your decision. Choose wisely. All right, these are staffs. Draconia. Draconia is definitely a DR class in both versions. What about Awakening Sage? Same thing. Okay, that's why I'm not doing Sucker Awakening. It's just all around. It's both specs. Okay. All right. And I think I've gotten through them all. Wait, Megu. Megu. I'm gonna put in either. Megu technically has an evasion passive on it, and so is technically better with evasion. However, most Megus run damage reduction because they're primarily a ranged class in the Succession format. In the Awakening format, you have to get a lot closer, so the evasion's probably going to help you a little bit more. Oh yeah, I missed Hash. Good call. They're the afterthought of a class. So Megu can be built as either. You could go, if you're Suck Megu, the DR is probably going to help you out a little bit more because you're just going to stand at range and pummel people, and you'll probably do a little bit more damage. It'll also help you in PvE. However, when people get on top of you, you will feel tankier with evasion. Hashashin is an evasion class. Okay. Most definitely an evasion class. I've seen some hashes build DR on it, so technically you could build either. I see more success. I see more success with evasion than DR. Okay. I have seen people build both of them. But I see people with evasion on hash definitely do a lot better. Overall. But you could technically make a case for DR on hash. It's doable. So like if you're looking to tag a hash, you could definitely play with DR. You'll be fine. Hash evasion percent is low though. Yeah, that's right. But the problem is hash is really, really squishy. They just got a bunch of accuracy buffs in a very recent patch. And so you don't really need as much. Like it used to be like, oh, we got to build DR because we just don't have any accuracy. Now it's like, okay, well now we can build evasion because it'll help us trade better when we get in close. Because you could... Hash has a lot of skills that we have to stand there and like cast the tornado or like just chill out for a second. And it's kind of frustrating. And so evasion helps you trade a little bit better. And we get a shout out for Suzanne with the 45. Suzanne, are you awake? Are you Suzanne, what's your opinion? You like evasion or you like DR on the hash? I gave my 2 cents on it. I think with the new accuracy buffs, I think that evasion is probably stronger, but that you could definitely play damage reduction with it. What do you think, Suzanne? Suck better evasion. Awakening is better with DR. Okay, so again, yeah, it's either or. Okay, we'll put it in the either column. Okay, I'll put it over here. Is that better? That's better. Like, and it's marginal. The difference is marginal. I think evasion is probably stronger on it because you just can trade better. You don't just get one shot necessarily. Okay. One ninja also be either. I think that ninja very much so likes the evasion more than the DR. But you could play. We went over this. You could play ninja with DR. It's doable. But like you should build him with evasion. Okay, we did Megu. Okay, we're good. I think I've got everything. Mewa and Musa are right here as well. Okay. Now, again, disclaimer. All of these evasion classes can be played with DR. Okay? So everybody in the chat, Striker can play with DR. The Ninja can be played. Shut up, please. You can absolutely play all of these evasion classes with DR. It's just which one is objectively better with their passives and stuff. This is the evasion list here. Ninja and Kuno belong in the evasion comp. They have a good amount of evasion passives. They scale well with evasion into the late game. They're stronger with evasion, but they can be played with DR, just like every other fucking class in this column can be played with DR. Now, I will say that if you take a Guardian and you try to play him with evasion, you're going to have a hard time. Her with evasion, my bad. If you take a Berserker and try to play with evasion, you're probably going to have a bad time. Draconia, probably going to have a bad time, right? The road does not run both ways, okay? So just bear that in mind. If you're on the fence as to which one you want to do, I recommend DR as a general rule, okay? Because then you can... If you've got a DR build, you can tag over to an evasion class and you're not worried about it. If you have an evasion build, it's going to be much harder to tag a DR class. Okay? All right. Now that we have this, when in doubt, go DR. It's absolutely right. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the build sheet. Is hybrid even possible in this game? Very, very late game, you could technically make a case for a hybrid, but I'll be honest with you, even then it still sucks. So, like, no. You have to basically choose one or the other. That is how it works. Okay, so now we've got all of our journals done. We've got all of our Tuvala gear. We have to make our decision. Okay? We're on a witch here. Okay? The first build path we are going to do is the evasion build path. Then we're going to go back and we're going to build the DR build path. Okay? First thing on evasion that you want to make sure that you do, honestly, both of them you want to do, is your weapons are first. Okay? Weapons are first. Now, I'm just going to assume that most players are PvE players, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw both of these in here as a general rule. Okay? Now, what if I only play Succession Blue on my class? Okay, well then you could probably sit with like a Narchilian Awakening weapon for a really long time if you want to. Now, keep in mind that your Awakening weapon, if you're playing Succession, definitely scales into your Succession damage. Likewise, if you're playing Awakening, your main hand AP scales into your Awakening's damage. So, like, you are going to want to upgrade your weapon eventually. Okay? All right. As far as the offhand goes, you definitely want to go for the Kudum. Okay? Definitely go for the Kudum. Especially if you're an evasion class. Okay? This is important. The offhand that you choose depends on which build you're going for. Evasion is Kudum. DR is Nuver. Okay? Now, you're like, well, Blue, what about in PvE? Well, in PvE, everyone uses Kudum. But Blue, that's not fair to the DR classes. We know. DR is really going to need both. Okay? DR is really going to need both. Okay? I will talk about the Black Star offhand very briefly. You can build this. I will say that, like, Fiery Black Star is going to be kind of a pain in the ass for you, so I recommend the Kudum up front. Like, this is basically a Kudum. Okay? So I recommend just getting the Kudum because you can do the guaranteed pen system. So you do a guaranteed pen on your offhand, guys. On the offhand. All right? Then I want you to buy the Black Stars. Okay? For the main and the Awakening. So when you do the guaranteed pen system from Jetina, or whatever that woman's name is, the same person that you get the pen accessory quest from, you need to do the offhand first. Okay? As far as the armor slot that you're choosing, remember, we picked up, at this point, we've graduated. You have graduated your seasonal gear, which means that you have your pen red nose because you've done your Magnus quest line and you're good to go. Okay. What's up, McLevin? You can reform Kudum from Jetina to reform 4, and it's basically the same as pen is with one less accuracy. Yep, I'm going to get to that in a second. Yeah, okay, you know what? I'll just go over it now. You can do reformed Kudum stage 4. This is fine too. You'll notice it's basically the same stats as a pen Kudum. So you can reform your Kudum to 4, but I do recommend eventually just getting your pen Kudum. Okay? So, like, we're just going to keep it at pen for now because you can do the guaranteed pen quest line and get it kind of just done. Kuda with the resub for 2 months. Kuda, welcome back, buddy. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thank you for continuing to support me. What ointment do you use to fix your headphone dent? I don't have one. That's not how evolution works, dude. See? Look. Perfectly smooth. All right. So you finished your Magnus. You have all of your quests done. You've got your pen offhand. You've got this. Now, I will say that while you are doing your Tuvala, guys, while you're doing your Tuvala, you need to be doing your weekly pen quests. Okay, so you need to walk up to this woman here. There's one in Velia. And there's one over here. Here's Jetina right here in Heidel. Okay. You need to do this weekly, every single week. She just requires you to give her 2 latent auras. Okay, and you're doing it for these little concentrated crystals. Okay, so you start your Kudum one, and you can start your Begs one or your gloves. You can start your gloves. Okay, you should do that from like week 1. If you haven't started doing it, you need to do it now. Don't wait till this time to start doing it. Okay, because when you graduate, you should already basically have a pen Kudum, right? Jetina is a girl, I think. Who knows? It's 2023. So the first pen armor that you want to do, that you want to get the guaranteed pen from, is probably your gloves. Okay, since we're on an evasion arc, you need to make your pen levers. Okay, you also need to make your pen. The next thing you make, this one doesn't matter as much. I would probably say that the helmet's more important. I like the Griffin's helmet. The difference between the Griffin's helmet and the Gaia's helmet is the Gaia's helmet gives you 100 HP. The Griffin helmet gives you 5% resistance, slightly more DR. So I like the Griffin's. The evasion, for an evasion build, the Gaia, this doesn't help as much in my opinion, but it is what it is. Okay, so these are your 2 guaranteed pens from the guaranteed pen quest line for your armors. You do 1 for your weapons, and then you fill in black stars for the rest. Okay. As far as your boots go, that's probably your last thing for an evasion build. You're probably going to have to buy muskins because it's probably going to be cheaper to buy pen muskins off the marketplace than it is going to be to make them or use the guaranteed pen system. I will check for the time of this video. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If the price is below like 12 bill, I think it is, you should definitely just buy it. Okay, so you're buying your last piece of pen gear. Okay, all of your weapons are pen. Now, when you graduated, I forgot to cover this. When you graduated your Tuvala, you get the pen Capotion necklace. Do not fuck this up. Pen Capotion necklace. It gives you the most AP. Gives you the most AP. If you suck, why not C19 the try instead of a black star? Because that's not like, okay. Because eventually you're going to need a pen black star anyway, and C19ing a try dandy is basically just throwing your money into the toilet as opposed to literally investing into something that you will use later on anyway. It doesn't cost a whole lot more money. Okay? So like I said, you can sit on an Archillion for a while, or like a try for a while. I did address that. You can sit on a try awakening weapon if you're succession. That is doable. But eventually, don't bother Caphras it. Eventually, just move over to the black star. You will have more damage this way. Blue, when are we getting God boots? Soon. Soon, TM. Okay. All right, so now we've got this. All right, so now we've got all this. This was your seasonal reward. For the second seasonal reward, you should probably take this the Pen Tuvala belt, if I'm being honest. Okay? You'll probably get a Pen Capotia, like, ring and earring at some point. For, like, what is it? Like, logging in? Like, you get this one from the coelacanth fishing. You get this one from graduating. And this one you hit for hitting level 62 and just tapping it. Or whatever, right? There you go. All right. So you get 3 Capotias. All right, at this point. Assuming that you don't have your Capotias, honestly, maybe we could just show them without the Capotias. We're going to pretend we don't have any Capotias except for the one we graduated with. Fuck you guys. All right. All right, we're at 605 gear score. You're like, all right, what do I do next? This is where players start to get confused. Okay. This is where you need to look at your gear. You say, all right, am I 268? All right, that's not quite high enough. 268 is not quite high enough on the AP. We want to be 269. Why? Because every time you get AP in BDO, you get hidden AP. Okay, so in BDO, when you get certain stats, sheet stats, okay, you get certain hidden stats on top of it. But why do we do that, Blue? No one fucking knows. So if you hit 268 or 257 AP, you get 83 hidden AP. When you hit 261 AP, suddenly now that hidden AP moves up by like 18 to like 101. Then you hit 265, it moves up to 122, and so on. You get these brackets through the 260s are critical. The bracket cutoffs are 261, 265, and 269 respectively. That's what you're worried about. But as we move on in gear score, I will talk about different brackets. This is what I am referring to. Okay, so as you get more sheet stats in BDO, you get more hidden stats as well. Okay, so when we talk about hitting certain brackets, this is what we're talking about. Okay, the same goes for DP. The higher DP you have, the more percentage DR that you have, scaling all the way to 401, where you have 30% extra DR on your whole build. Okay, so you might imagine, oh, well, that's probably really good for a DR build. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Godslinger with the raid. Thanks so much, buddy. I really appreciate it. Godslinger. I believe he's a Zerker over in Crawling Chaos. You guys should go give him a follow. Hager, buddy, coming over for Godslinger stream. I hope you had a good one. It's the ultimate gearing guide. We're showing people how to gear. Okay? When will you talk about Renown? Put the gun down. Put the gun down. Okay. All right, so now we're back at this point. We need to hit 269. How are we going to get to 269? Really? No. Yeah, no, it's the Jetina. It's the crescent ring. You're going to have a Tet crescent ring really quickly. Okay, there we go. All right, you're going to have it. There you go. All right, where are you getting the Tet crescent ring from, Blue? You walk up to Jetina, the same person that you get your weekly pen quest from. She's going to have a quest to do, I don't know. It's like the accessory quest one. She should have an accessory quest. I've already done mine. Mine is right here. You get a free pen accessory for doing like 60 or 100 or something dailies. I don't know. It's like 2 months worth, a month and a half worth of dailies. I don't know, something like that. Anywho, you get the Tet ring really quickly. So equip the Tet ring. 45. There it is. Month and a half. So you get the Tet ring really fast. So we're gonna put that on. Okay, that's going to get us to the 269, 271. Bet. Okay, now our DP is just a wee bit low. Okay, at this stage, once you've hit this 269 bracket, whether you're Succession or Awakening, it's like, oh, well, if you're Succession and your Awakening AP isn't 269, no one gives a shit, and vice versa. It's going to be fine. As long as your primary weapon is 269 plus, you're going to be okay. Now we need to look at a little bit of DP, okay? I think the DP is a little high for that point. No, because they're going to be looking at doing orcs now. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually get these to C4. Okay, I want you to C4. This takes like no time. Do not put Caphras in your gear until they are pen. Do not put Caphras in your gear until they hit pen, okay? You need to C4 all of your armor slots, okay? This is going to put you at approximately 350 DP, all right? At this point, you are an evasion build, which means now we can sacrifice for the distos. Okay? Now, in order to juice our AP up really, really far for like 20 bill, you're going to get Tet distos. Okay? And it's going to bring your DP down kind of significantly. However, your AP is going to hit 280 fucking 1. Okay? Your AP is going to hit 281. All right? Now, your DP will drop because you put the distos on. Distos before Vel. Right now, yes. Because you need to get the distos before the Caphras. Okay, let's take a look. Vells costs maxed out at 16.5 billion with 121 orders down. Okay, so in order to get Vells, you're going to have to put an order down. You're talking about a new player putting an order down for 16.5 billion and just saying, God, I hope I get it. Okay. Okay. So, like, again, asking a new player to take 16.5 billion silver and float it in the air for an unknown amount of time is unrealistic, right? That is unreal. Get the other piece. Oh, so you want me to put it on this? Oh, you mean the 70 orders that are on this one? Okay, this is probably going to take you at least 1 or 2 weeks. 1 or 2 weeks that you could have been grinding with more AP if you just invested in the distos up front. Okay, because the distortion earrings are about 21 bill. Okay, but you could theoretically put an order for 20 bill. Okay, but you have it instantly. And asking a player to literally save up 16.5 billion this early on, and then just sit with it, like, oh, put your Garmoth pre-order down. What? You can't do that. Like, you can't just tell a player to put their Garmoth. That's 10 billion. That's like 10 gear score for them, right? That's like 10 fucking gear score for them. No, the distos are going to be easier to acquire. Okay, and I recommend getting the distos. Okay, now. You could, technically, instead of distos, maybe you got lucky. Or you're just like, fuck it, I'm not on a time crunch. You could do this. Okay, you could technically get your Vells heart next. It's doable. It's not necessarily going to give you a bracket for your succession, but like, you know, hey, whatever, fuck it. You could get it. All right? Where are the... Let Kythar do the guide. He's not out of touch because he's doing it right now. Okay, that was a pretty good one. that was a pretty good one. No. How long should you be playing to get this gear? Okay, so at this point, 630 gear score, you're probably about okay, it depends. If you're playing the game full time, if you're at 8 hours a day, you probably reach this. Oh God, what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks? If you're playing 8 hours, 1 month. I don't know, man. If they're grinding 8 hours a day at Centaurs, that's like 8 bill a day, guys. That's kind of a lot of money, right? I'd say that that's like 3 weeks, right? Like if they're playing this much, I think that they could get here really fast. Yeah. Time-gated quests. That I get, but like you could just... If you're making that much silver, fuck the time-gated quests. Just buy your armor. You know what I mean? You just go and buy it. New player, like 1 and 2 months. Okay, so yeah. So if you're playing like 3 to 4 hours a day, this is probably going to take you 1.5 months. Okay? And if you're playing like 1 to 2 hours a day, this is probably going to take you 2 months. 2.5 months. 2 months. Right? 2 to 2.5 months. 2 to 2.5 months. That's assuming that you're being relatively efficient, right? Like you're going through stuff, you're making a decent amount of money, you're logging in every day, you're getting that stuff, you're doing your dark rifts, right? Yeah, 2 to 3 months for most players. Okay, yeah. So like this is generally the timeline you're at here. Can someone grind at Agris? How can someone grind without Agris at Centaurs? That is a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, but like then you could just go down to Orcs. Right? Because at that point you're probably going to Orcs. Helm's Post is only 10 mil though. True. Kratuga is another good one, but you need more DP to grind Kratuga. So in fairness. But like again, if you're playing 8 hours a day, you're probably gonna get there in a few weeks. It's probably not gonna take you very long. An experienced veteran player might be able to do this in like 2.5 weeks. You don't get that many loot scrolls? Oh. Don't you though? Game knowledge is priceless. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Like for somebody that's playing 8 hours a day, they're probably also spending money on the game. Like, what about Elric Shrine? Put the gun down. All right, so like these are your next things. All right, and you're grinding at Orcs at this point, probably, if you're trying to stay efficient at least. All right. You've got a good amount of AP. You're kind of crushing the Orcs at this point. But you kind of want to get up, get your DP a little bit higher. So, we're going to go to C6. We're going to go to C6 on our armors. C6 on our armors. C6 on our armors. At this point, you need to be like Turos, getting your flame. or at Jade Forest getting your flame, or like somewhere in Ailton getting your flame. Okay, so like you need to work on getting your flames done. Okay, because you need to gas these to C10 and turn them into your dead gods. Okay, you turn these into your dead gods. Okay, so now you're at 374. There's a lot of DP. Now we need to go back to AP again. Okay, you could technically stop off for AP after getting one of your dead gods and go back to AP. I like to err on the side of caution, though. Jade Forest worth it without Agris? Probably not. Can you just buy the god armor and helmet? I don't recommend it. It's going to cost more to buy it than it is to make it. And since you get your pen... I mean, you get your pen chest piece from Magnus, so that takes the price down considerably. Then all you got to do is put C10 in there, and like you've got your fallen gods. Alternatively, you're going to have to spend like what, 40 billion? Like that's going to be too much money, right? So you could do your guaranteed pen quest line and get again the same story for the helmet. So like you really don't have to worry about it. Now the gloves, you're like, okay, the gloves. Okay, well then at that point the gloves, maybe you could buy the gloves, but even still, I recommend making them because they're going to be cheaper. I don't recommend, like, so you need to get 2 pieces of your dead god done. Most people do the chest piece and the helmet first because they came out in that order. Okay. But you could definitely do gloves and chests or whatever. Definitely cheaper to make the gloves. Okay, there it is. Okay, you know what? We'll just fact check it. We will just fact check it. Okay, so yeah, they're 40 bill, right? 43 bill. Okay, yeah, so it's definitely cheaper to do the gloves by hand. Don't buy those. Okay. All right. Bro, at this point, you have a lot of DP. All right, we need some AP. How are we going to get some AP? Now it's going to start getting hard. Now it's going to start getting hard. Okay. Thrano with the brand new, or I mean with the resub at tier 1 for 3 months. Enjoy that new sub badge, buddy. Thanks so much, and welcome back to the squadron. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't do the black shrine for the flame though. Just buy the flame. It's like 300 mil. What? I mean, you could do either. You can either buy the flame for 300 mil, or you can just do your black shrine every week, which I recommend because it's like free money for a new player. Just do all like the black. Okay, I'm not getting into what you should and should not be doing. This is a gearing guide. This is a gearing. Focus. Okay. All right. Back to it. We need AP. We need AP. Where do we get AP? Because it's going to start hurting now. It's going to start squeezing us for everything it's worth. Okay, so we're at 284, 282. Okay, well, we come over here, and you should do this when you're trying to make your gear. You're like, okay, well, am I going to hit a bracket? Oh, I am. So if I hit 285, I get 6 more hidden AP. Right? So if I just get 1 more sheet AP, I get 6 more hidden AP. Okay, well, that's pretty good. All right, so we need to try to get over that, okay? At this point, yeah, your Jetina should be finished up by now, okay? Okay, well, there's your 285, but we still need more AP anyway. Sweet. So your Jetina finishes up. Amazing. Now you need to do a little bit of a calculation. If you are a Succession or an Awakening player exclusively, then you should probably go for an Accessory. I mean, then you should probably go for a Black Star. If you are, or you could go for these other things. Oh, okay, we'll go into the other things too. Okay, this is... I don't like going for Black Star this early in the build. I'm not a fan, but like sometimes people just hit them and like they're just a better player than me. This for gear is only no crystal involved. We will go to crystals at the end. Okay, so at this point, you should have gotten a Pen Kaposha ring from somewhere. I think it's fair to assume that 2.5 to 3 months into the fucking game that you have another Pen Kaposha from something. Okay, whether it be an event, or you enhanced it, or you got it from, I don't know, any number of different things. Okay, so we've got our Pen Kaposha, our Jetina finished up, and now we're looking at this. All right, so you need to do a calculation. You're like, oh, well, I'm a Succession striker, or like, I'm a Succession staff, and I only play Succession for everything that I do. Okay, well, then let's look at it. This is 9 AP. It's going to put you at 297 from 290. Okay. All right, well, right now you're at 290. That's 167. 181. So you're going to get 14 AP, 14 hidden AP, plus the 9 sheet AP. But another thing to keep in mind is that when you enhance a Black Star, you also get extra damage to mobs. Like a lot of damage to mobs. Okay. I missed how to get the Black Star weapons. You buy them. You buy them. Okay? Or you can enhance them. Okay. So like, all right, now let's look over here. If you play Awakening and Succession on your class, you need to just look over at the Ogre Ring is the most cost-efficient accessory that you can actually get. Okay. It's the most cost-efficient accessory that you can actually get. Now, if you are somehow still sitting on a pin Tuvala belt, technically this is fucking efficient. Technically doing that is pretty fucking efficient. Okay. But like, you're probably not. You're probably sitting on a pen Caposha belt at this point. Okay. You're 3 months or so into the fucking game. You've got your last two, like whether the seasonal rolled over and you got another one from seasonal or whatever. Like, you're probably going to be sitting on a Tet belt. Okay. So at this point, you're like, all right, how do I get to the 301 bracket? Because that's the next really good bracket. Okay. That's the next really good bracket. Ah, that sucks. That sucks. That sucks. Again, if you're playing Awakening or Succession, you should probably go for the Ogre Ring. Okay. If ever you find yourself, upgrade your Vells Heart. We're going to get there. The next time we need DP, we're going to get there. Okay. Once you've got your Ogre Ring, all right, we're 298. This is looking good. Okay. This is looking good. 296. This kind of sucks. This kind of sucks. So we need some more AP. We're really trying to hit 301. That's what we're trying to do. I will say that belts in general are usually cheaper than rings. Mainly because everyone needs 2 rings. But everyone only needs 1 belt. So the demand for the rings is probably going to be higher than it is for the belts. Now, everybody does get Jetina. Okay, but some people go with the Narc, which we will talk about a little later. And some people, some tongue grab. No, don't ever pick the tongue grab. If you ever end up in this situation where you need 1 AP, you're like, let's say we're right here. Okay. Well, actually, that just gives us the AP that we need. We take those. Okay, so this is the next thing that I would do. What was I gonna do? Caposha. Okay, so we have a pen Caposha belt. We're at 298. We're an Awakening class. Sweet. You can just finish out your belt. Boom, 301. Okay. If you're a Succession class, then you should. But if you're a primarily Succession class, then this is a little different for you. This is a little different for you. Okay. You're like, oh man, I need to hit 301. Okay, well then you're gonna need a pen Black Star probably. Okay, and then you can C7 your Kudum. If you put 7 levels of Caphras into your Kudum, it actually gives you an AP. Okay. So this is a little bit different. If you strictly only play a Succession class, this is probably what you should do. Okay. This is going to be a little bit cheaper probably than having to get 3 pen accessories, which is going to suck. So you said that the pen Caposha necklace is most important for your first season. Absolutely. What's up, Gegson? How you doing, buddy? Kudum expensive. It's C7 and C14 for 1 AP, but C7 is not that expensive. C7 is easy. I'm not going to recommend C14 until much later. Okay. So, but we're going to pretend that we're an Awakening build. Okay. So for all intents and purposes, we're going to pretend we're an Awakening build at this point. Okay. So we got our Ogre. We got our belt. And look at that. We're 301. Now we're here. At 301 Kudum, we need to stop and we need to build more DP. You need to crank your DP up hard. Okay. And keep in mind, okay, yeah, this is an evasion build, so you're not actually building Nuver basically at any point. Okay, so this needs to go immediately to C10, and you need to get your Dawn's gloves. At duo. They need to be duo. Okay, well, wait. Which one of these is the... Which one of those is the... Yeah, it's the green one, right? It's the green one for evasion. Green is evasion. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right. You need the green Dawn glove for the evasion build, okay? Again, we're back on this evasion thing, okay? Green one. Do not build the blue one. You will have just cucked yourself. Your Muskins, by the time you reach this point, the Muskins can probably go to C9, okay? And leave them there, okay? Because when the new boots come out, then all you got to do is drop them to C10, and then boom, you can duo your boots. It's really easy, okay? But you should just put them at C9. It's a good investment. just in general. Okay. By this time, the new boots should be out. Well, you don't know. A player could be watching this and they're like right here already. We don't know. Okay. So now we're 301. We're 388 DP. Looking good, boys. Looking good, boys. At this point, this is where like the gearing starts to get kind of hard at this point. In an evasion build, I'm strictly going to prefer to have I like 305 Kudum. I think 305 Kudum is kind of essential. I think it's really, really fucking good. So what are we going to do about that? How are we getting to 305? Oh my fucking God, we got... Oh, look at that. There it is. We found it. We're done. Okay. Now we're 309. Believe it or not, 309 is the last cutoff. Okay. 309 is right here. You get another really good bracket here. Beyond this, you'll notice that the brackets drop off dramatically. Okay. All right. Now we're 310. Now we're 310 Kudum. Again, this is the Awakening build. If you're a Succession build at this point, you probably have both your pen accessories and the opposite pen Blackstar. Okay, sweet. Now we need to pump our DP to 401. You need to upgrade your Vells heart twice. Okay? Upgrade your Vells heart twice. Then, you're probably going to have... I'm going to pretend that you have duo boots. Because, like, this, by the time this guide comes out, or by the time most people are watching this, you're probably going to have the duo boot equivalent. I'm just going to put these at C20. Because, like, that's as close as I can get it to simulate. Okay? What about duo Goddard? I don't really recommend Goddard, to be honest with you. The only reason to ever do Goddard is because you just want to just eke out just a little bit more AP at like different points in your build, but it's ultimately going to end up costing you more money in fail stacks than a Blackstar will. Right? More money than a Blackstar will. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to put these boots at C20 because, again, the new boots are going to come out soon, and we're simulating what that DP might look like. Okay? C19 Kudum. No, not quite yet. What about C7, though? Oh, doesn't quite get us there. What about C9? C10? There it is. Okay. I wouldn't stop at C10, though. To be honest with you, if you're going to go all the way on the Kudum, you might as well... Okay. I would go to C7 on the Kudum. Wait a minute. So we're 398. You go to C7, you're at 400. No, never mind. You don't need to do that. Just try one of your... Boom. Done. Just try one of your dead gods. Just try one of your dead gods. Okay, so you exalt. You exalt. Your boots are basically done because they're going to be basically duo equivalent, and you just try one dead god. C15 to squeeze out every accuracy in preparation for the high-end grinds. We're not exactly at... I mean, we're kind of getting towards it. We're kind of getting towards it here at the high-end grind spots here. All right. So once you are at 309 AP and 401 DP, you have essentially hit every single bracket that is relevant in the game. Beyond this, it doesn't fucking matter anymore. Okay? You're not as focused on brackets. Now you're going to look at your raw stats. Now you want to start overstacking the bracket so that you can... then add other statistics to your gear. In this case, oh, well, I want to put on a lunar necklace. Okay, well, if you want to put on a pen fucking lunar necklace, oh, then you're only 306, and you got to get some more AP somewhere else in your build, right? Now, to be clear, you can go for a Tet Debo. I don't necessarily recommend it. Most players end up blowing their pen or their Tet Debo up like idiots. You get one more AP for this for 75 bill. This is 93 bill for one less AP. Do not do this. Yeah, if you grind it yourself, yeah, you're still going to lose money because you should have just grinded somewhere more efficient and made like way more money, and then you just buy the ogre even faster. You're fine, right? So, okay. At this point, you're like, all right, well, I need to finish out my accessories. So now's the time when you want to look at, okay, what do I need? We talked about DR versus evasion and what both gear sets need. So when you go to replace this Kaposha ring, whatever point you decide to do this, if you're a DR build, I strongly recommend the Eye of the Ruins ring. Okay? This gives you extra HP. Okay, the Crescent Ring is just raw dog stats. You get nothing. This has the same AP as a Crescent Ring, but it also gives you a bunch of HP. Okay, and for a DR build, HP is king. Okay, so I strongly recommend going for this Eye of the Ruins ring. You also need to choose what cups to put on your gear. Okay, I strongly recommend only the HP cups. I do not think that the AP cups are worth it on basically any class in the game, with the exception of maybe Sage and Dark Knight. But like aside from that, I still think that the HP is better to trade with. I know most of the Sages I know all have HP on their rings. Okay. Like I think the HP cups are objectively better, mainly because I'll be honest with you, I did the crit damage cups for a while, and it just doesn't feel very much different. It just doesn't feel. Isn't the back attack one guild? This is not crystals. This is cups, buddy. This is cups. Okay. And again, the HP, most of the game's PvP guys is capped. All right. So HP is super valuable in capped PvP. Okay. So like HP is just going to be more valuable overall for your capped PvP, and then in uncapped PvP, you're probably going to live better with just having more HP. I do recommend running HP on just about everything. Crit cups for Ranger, you're trolling with HP, you're going to die no matter what. No, actually, DP does matter. So the meme about those range classes, Archer, Ranger, Awakening, Dark Knight, etc. Oh, we don't need DP. We're one shot anyway. No, you don't need to survive. If you get CC'd on those classes, you're absolutely right. You are dead. You are dead. But if you get hit by poke damage, that's what your DP is for. You don't have DP so that you can survive getting floated. You're bad. You get better to survive that. Okay. All right. Block increases with HP as well. Well, yeah, but usually it's your DR and your HP. Is what scales your block. Okay, so like you will be able to trade better. Okay, people will be able to hit you, and you will survive chip damage better with HP. Now, I will say that Ranger and Archer in them, you could make a case for putting the crit damage rings on a ranged class. Doable. But I would still argue that it's better to be able to survive chip damage, because they're going to be throwing range at you too, especially in large scale PvP. They're going to hit you with a focus meteor, and if you're just instantly dead because you have this, because you just didn't have enough HP, there's not much to be done about it. So again, I still recommend HP rings on basically everyone. Like there's very rare exceptions where you want to run the other one, but most people run HP mainly because again, most of the PvP in the game is capped, and the HP is better. Okay, as for the belt, there's literally only one add-on you want to use on, or cup you want to use on your belt, and it's the title one. Do not get the hidden AP plus 3. That is bad. You always want the DR plus 6 cup upgrade on every class, every spec. It doesn't really matter. Everybody runs the title version. Nobody runs anything else. Okay. All right, so now we've got our cups. Some people like to put cups on their earrings. I don't think this matters too much, but yeah, you can throw your arboreal. There's no option. You just have to put them on there. It's 3 extra hidden AP, whatever. Okay. Right? No big deal. All right, so at this point, we're kind of filling in our stats. If you're on a staff, or it's like, hey, I need more accuracy. If you're on a class that does it, at this point, you should understand what your class needs. If you are this progressed into the game, you need to understand what your class needs, and for which, in this particular case, you are going to need some accuracy. So you need some accuracy somewhere. There's a lot of different ways to get accuracy in BDO. Okay, people go about this in different ways. There are 2 different approaches to end game builds. Okay, so we're actually just going to start maxing stuff out here. C15 Kudum is okay to get basically at any point. You cannot go wrong. As for when to get your Garmoth's Heart, I would say somewhere around 630 gear score. Once you hit about 630 gear score, that's when you want to put down your order for Garmoth's Heart. Because at 630 gear score, you're feasibly grinding orcs, right? Or you're grinding at like one of the Elvia spots. You're making closer to like a bill an hour. It's easier to kind of make this money. Okay. But like this is when you need to put down your order. But putting it down at 600 gear score is fine. Putting it down at like below 600 gear score is griefing. Okay. Yeah, it's extremely difficult to get Garmoth's Heart, and you need 2 of them. You need 2 of them. The first Garmoth's Heart, typically, I would put in your main, or I mean your Awakening, so that you get the 2 extra crystal slots, which is very critical nowadays. And then the second one you put in your Kudum. Okay. Good luck on getting that order. I'm aware. Look, I didn't say it was going to be easy. I just said that, like, hey, you're going to need to do it. And this is when I recommend starting to put that order down. You know, you get it down early. And then by the time, like right now, is when you're like, all right, I definitely need Garmoths, right? Now 700 still don't have the heart. Do Nuver every day is also super useful. Okay. I recommend C15ing your Kudum at, like, you can definitely C7 your Kudum early if you need 1 AP to hit a bracket. Super good. C15ing your Kudum means that don't stop at C14. This is where you get the AP. C15 on the Kudum gives you another 4 accuracy, okay? So, like, you need to make sure that you go all the way to C15. So put C15 on the Kudum and you can kind of just leave it where it sits at that point. Okay. 723, still no heart. That's tragedy. Tragedy. Okay, so now we're going to look at endgame builds. All right, we need to choose a direction, boys. We need accuracy. There are 2 really big types. The endgame build that is considered the best in the game, hands down, without much exception, is to go for Pendebo necklace, Pendebo belt. Where's the Pendebo belt? Pendebo earring. Okay. All right. And then you're looking at, usually you're looking at a Pendisto here, and then you're going to change these to ominous rings. This is where you're going to get your accuracy. This is usually what people do into the super late game. Okay. So, like, the 3 set effect for the Debos, you have to go grind these yourself for the most part. Okay. The 3 set effect for the Debos gives you, like, what, 12 hidden AP, which is really good. That's why people go for the 3 set effect, but they only do 1 of these. Okay. Now, a lot of people, you could, the other earring slot is tricky. Okay. If you really like accuracy and you're like, I need more accuracy, the Dawn earring is an amazing choice. Okay. But just bear in mind that it's going to drop you below the 309 bracket for your succession. Okay. So that's why some people choose not to do that. Okay. Or they just put on a Nuver. But, like, if you're an evasion build, you're probably not going to do that. So, like, most people aren't putting on the Dawn earring. They're just putting on the Disto because it keeps them above the 309 bracket. And the Disto has a shitload of accuracy on it already. Okay? A shitload of accuracy on it already. Oh, yeah, tip Black Star. Okay, my bad. I'm so sorry. I fucked up. Thank you, Super Dork. Thank you, Super Dork. Okay, so if you put the Dawn on... Okay, so you're at 315. Okay, so again, you're not hitting the 316 bracket. Some players care about that. Some players care about that. Having much more AP helps sometimes. Again, this is just raw AP, though. It's only 2 AP, I think. The 316 bracket, no, it's 3 AP. It's 3 AP. It's like, whatever. Nobody really fucking cares all that much. But, like, you can definitely pull in a Dawn double ominous ring. Just understand that if you go the Deboraka route, you must get at least 2 accuracy accessories as a general rule. And they have to be in your ring slot, which is why everyone goes for the ominous ring. Okay? The Dawn earring is something that I would personally do because I think that accuracy... Understanding, you're like, well, what about the AP helps you at PvE more? Actually, late game, they're actually tending more towards accuracy is helping you more in PvE late game than raw AP does. So I really would just build the Dawn earring with double ominous ring as your with 3 Debos as your endgame build. If I'm being 100% honest. How much accuracy is needed in PvP endgame build? You're looking at it. Like, if you have 3 accuracy accessories on at pen, you are going to one-shot basically everyone. It's not even going to be close. You're probably just going to demolish everybody. Also, most people run some sort of magic accuracy with, like, accuracy everything, Lightstones, like all this crap. Okay, so, like, I didn't really go over Lightstones very much, but most people run, like, in PvP, they run accuracy Lightstones and artifacts to help jack up their accuracy even more. Is this an evasion build or DR? This is the evasion build. We're going to go back and build the DR one next. Okay? Do you think the Debo ring will come out at the same time as the boots? No. The boots will come out far before the Debo ring does. Okay? But yeah, this is, like, considered the best endgame build. Obviously, your dead gods are going to be roughly at this point by the time you hit this, and your Kudum's probably C20 at some point. At this point, your upgrades are so far apart that you kind of just get stuff when you get stuff. You know what I mean? Is the three set Debo really that good? Yeah, it gives you 12 hidden AP. That's a lot. Plus the stats on the Debos themselves give you a massive amount of AP. So like, watch how much AP we lose. What, we're at 317 AP right now. If we wanted to go for the lunar instead, we literally lose almost 10 AP. We lose 9 AP and we drop below the bracket. Okay. Now we're going to go over the other. You can go a different way with this. You can go a different way with this. All right. Let's go this. Let's do this. Okay. I recommend the Voltara, by the way. A lot of people like to use Tungrad accessories. I don't strictly recommend doing Tungrad accessories just because going for 1 AP, like, oh, it gave me a bracket. Okay, well, then you just wasted a bunch of money on a Tungrad. Tungrad's late game are basically fucking useless. Like, they're like, because you're going to hit those big brackets anyway. You're going to have so many stats on your character, you're probably going to hit those endgame brackets anyway. The extra AP is not going to help you when you hit 730 year score. You've just basically dumped your money. 200% rage shy, very funny. The Black Spirit rage is nice. Only if you're on a Black Spirit class, and even then, just get funneled. Just get funneled. Okay, there's also the lunar route. Okay, if you don't like Debos, you can go for the lunar route. Technically, you can go for like... I like this. I like going for HP, HP, HP. Okay, I like these HP accessories. And if you're going to go that route, you definitely need a pen disto. At least one pen disto. I'm thinking about also working in a Dawn, but you'll see I come on just below the 309 bracket. If I put a pen... Oh, never mind. 310. There we go. But then I'm still just below the 309 bracket in my pre-awakening, which sucks. That sucks. Krusev... What about the Devo Belt, 2 earrings, and the Sissels for an evasion class? Put the gun down. Step away from the firearm. Curves, thanks so much. Welcome back for 3 months, buddy. I really appreciate that. If you're going to sacrifice one of these, I like this build. Mainly because you still get 2 big accuracy accessories, and the lunar gives you a massive amount. Often, no, never. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's very, very small situations in which you should build an Offhand. Really, you should just stick with the Black Star and just call it a day. All right, so you guys wanted to talk about... Let's look at the earrings. Let's look at the earrings. Okay, so like let's put the Dawn back on. Okay. All right, and you're talking about wanting that Sissel necklace because I'm an evasion build. Okay, well let's look at that. Where is the Debo? There it is. All right. So, the argument was, what if I just put on a Sissel's necklace instead of putting on the Debo, but instead we do 2 pen Debo earrings. Right? We do 2 pen Debo earrings, and then we're going to put on a Sissel's instead. Pen Sissel's only has, what, 39 evasion on it? That has 60. If you're going to take one of the Debos out of your build, it's going to be for the Centaur, not for the Sissels. Do you understand? If you're going to try to do this, it's not necessarily a crazy bad idea where you do the double earrings with the necklace and then you go for the Centaurs here. It's not necessarily a crazy bad idea, but then keep in mind that you're not actually hitting any AP brackets. Like, you're probably going to have to, like, put your ruins back on or something in order to actually hit brackets that you need to hit. Working Rat is... Oh, put the gun down. Jesus Christ. Do you ever go to church? Tomorrow is Sunday, my dog. I actually do go to church. Believe it or not. No one ever does this, though. I'm going to be honest. No one ever does this. If you're going to put on a Centaurs, you're just going to put it on, and you're not going to care. Like, you're going to leave your other stuff on, and you're just going to leave the and you're just going to put the Centaurs on, just like this. You're going to say, fuck it. Because the Centaurs is more of a sideboard item. It's not your main item. Okay. All right, so we've gone through the lunar build. We've gone through the The Debo build. All right, so that's all the late game stuff. All right, now we're going to go to the DR. Narc lovers. Again, yeah, we're going to move over towards DR at this point. All right, let's do character info. Let's build a Guardian. Because mommy. Let's build DR. Okay. All right. Now I have to put Tuvala in everywhere. I hate everything. Guardian isn't a good DR class to represent DR gear, though. I don't know why. Wishing Bell. Wishing you are literally an Evasion Guardian. Please. Shh. The adults are talking. Okay. There we go. No, I'm not. Aren't you a hybrid Evasion? No, dumb fuck. Oh, then what are you? Are you DR now? There we go. Guardian is an amazing class to simulate DR with. I don't know what the fuck you guys are high on, if I'm being honest. Valk's definitely the best one. Yeah, I would argue that, well, Draconi or Valkyrie, probably Valkyrie. But like, yeah, but I mean, Guardian works. This is just a demonstration, bro. I'm literally just doing a demonstration. Zerk's pretty good as well, though. Yep, absolutely. Zerker would have been another good choice. Again, we went through all the Evasion and DR classes earlier. I just chose the Guardian just randomly because I like Guardian. And she is a DR class. Okay. All right. And we're back. You're in the same situation you were before. Okay? Except when you go to make your free pens... I wasn't here. You're fine. Just like her for the boobies. Yeah. Duh. Okay. Again, on a DR class, you're still taking red nose. Okay? Adventure logs are on. Because again, we went through all of the early game build earlier. We got all the way through the adventure logs. We talked about that. Okay? So, now we're looking at... Oh, is this... Alright, it's at 62. We're good, boys. Alright. You take this from the Magnus. Every time, Evasion or DR, you're taking this from the Magnus. You're taking this from the end of season. Every time, always the necklace, do it. New to this game, is it worth to do the Jetina pen for the sub-weapon? Yes, that's what I'm going to go into right now. So your first Jetina quest for DR, okay, needs to be for your offhand. Now, DR is tough, man, because DR really wants to use Nuver. Nuver is the DR offhand. But you need a Kudum so that you can grind. So it kind of sucks. You're going to have to invest early over... you're going to have to invest in both early on. We are going to do the build with Kudum. And then I will demonstrate along the way where we're at, like stat-wise with Nuver. We're going to be switching back and forth along the way. I'm going to be focused on the Kudum, though. Not because it is better for DR. Okay? It's because you have to use it in PvE. So that's the offhand that most people are going to be using anyway. Just clone the build. No, it is not. It's not just a clone the build situation. Your guaranteed pen from Jetina needs to be the offhand, and I recommend Kudum. You need Kudum for both Evasion and DR. So, like, just get the Kudum. You do need a Nuver as well, though, and so you're gonna have to buy that or make one. Okay. Is 3 times Garmoth a must for DR? I would say it's not necessarily a must, but ideally, yes, you would have all 3. For Evasion, you only need 2. Like, ideally, yes, you'd have all 3. Okie dokie. So this is your first Jetina pen here. When you go to get your gloves, your Jetina pen for your gloves, this is where DR now. So you're going for Beg's gloves. As DR, you don't really that badly need Cronmoth for Kudum. Exactly what Geg just said. Okay. Now, guaranteed pen quest. I think that Uragon's is actually cheaper, so actually I'm going to change my mind on this. I think that for the guaranteed pen quest, you should do your helmet, because you should always do your helmet. Griffin gives more DR, so you might as well do Griffin's. Gaiath's is also a good option because it gives 100 HP. Either or, it doesn't really matter. Your preference. So you should do a guaranteed pen for your helmet, and then for your boots, you should also do the guaranteed pen for your boots. Because I'm fairly certain that Uragon's is pretty much always universally more expensive. Holy moly, 14.6 billion silver. Against 12 billion silver, 12.8. Okay, so yeah, you should definitely do the Uragon, right? Gaiath for capped content. Well, you could argue that the resistance is also good in capped too, right? But yeah, Gaiath probably a little bit better in capped, maybe. Sure. On the fence. And then you're buying your gloves. So in a DR build, you're just going to buy your pen bags gloves. Okay? So you make 2 guaranteed pen armors, only 1 guaranteed pen weapon. Okay? Again, I recommend Black Stars. Okay? You do not need to get both of these right away. If you're a Succession player, get the Succession Black Star and sit on a Narchilian Awakening. If you're Awakening, do the opposite. Get a Tet Black Star Awakening and then sit on a Narchilian for Succession. Okay? When I look at the central market overall, it seems like the shoes from Jetina, Magnus, one piece, and buy 2 other pieces because it's cheaper to buy base Fallen piece than to make it. Well, but you're getting a lot of these for like really free. You can't just say that you can't just look at this and be like, okay, well, Uragon's costs 14.6 billion because you're gonna make it for like 8. You're gonna make this for like or 6 billion or something, depending on whether or not you make it first or second. Okay, that's gonna take a big chunk of the price off. Then the Caphras are not gonna cost you 35 billion to get to C10. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure how much the Caphras actually cost to hit C10. I don't know the total Caphras cost for that. Somebody would have to do crunch the numbers for me real quick. But it's probably somewhere around 20 to 25 billion, maybe 20, if I had to guess off the top of my head. So Uragon's instead of Kudum. No. Jetina will allow you to do a weapon and armor separately. Okay, so you can do the weapon and an armor quest at the same time. Okay, you should be working on boots and helmet, probably 2 from Jetina, and then you're going to buy one of these. You're going to get one of them from Magnus. Technically, if you do the math and you're like, oh, Jetina costs more money to just buy it, more money than just buying it, well, then just buy it. Okay, but you have to do the math, but generally speaking, doing 2 of the Jetinas is safer. Okay, how about Black Star armor? People don't make Black Star armor. People make mistakes. Okay. All right. I'm in this situation. I've made an Awakening weapon first from Jetina. Is Black Star Awakening that much better? Should I trade? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, like, if you already have the pen, don't even bother. Like, you can just Caphras your pen dandy. Just understand that eventually you're gonna have to go over to the Black Star anyway. So, like, you're gonna have to move over to the Black Star eventually, but you can Caphras for your upgrades. But for the purposes of this guide, we're gonna use this. You can also use the Fiery. We have not talked about Fiery at all. Fiery at base starts it's like a Tet Black Star. Then it like works its way to a pen Black Star as you get to pen. But I don't necessarily recommend this because it's gonna cost a lot of money. You have to hit basically a 5% chance 5 times in a row versus a Black Star, where if you just sit at Tet, you just have to hit a 5% chance 1 time in a row. Okay. Oh yeah, it's a Fiery. Whoops. I just want a normal Black Star. There we go. I just want a normal Black Star. There we go. Yeah, so if it's a Fiery Black Star, it means it has Garmoth's heart on it. Okay, so right now we're at normal Black Star. Okay. All right. So now we're at this. We have our pen armors. Sweet. You're rolling. At this point, if you're a new player, you're rolling. And you're like, sweet. I got a lot of gear on. We're fine. For a DR build, I like putting C4 on your armors. It's it's like 3.5 bill for 4 DP. Like, it's a piece of cake. It is a piece of cake. So, like, this is really efficient, and it gets you to this 354 DP marker. I will say that, wait, why are we not at the AP that we need? Pen Capacious. Oh, that's why. I'm like, wait, why are we not at 269? So you need to make sure you're at 269 before you do this, okay? All right, so we got C4, so we're at 354 DP. All right, now we have the same conundrum, okay? So now we need some AP. You can go for Vells, or you can go for Distos. Eventually, you're going to need both anyway. If I were a new player, I would grab the Distos first, even though they are a little bit more expensive. They are readily available on the marketplace. Asking a new player at this level of gear score to hold on to 17 billion silver and not use it for an upgrade and just keep an order down in the pray to God, Jesus, like, oh God, I hope I get my upgrade, I think is kind of griefing. Okay? But like eventually you're going to need all 3 of these. Not the Tet Narcs. We'll get to the Narcs later. Every class in the game typically starts with Distos regardless. It's not as good in a DR build because you need the DR, but you also need the Distos to boost your AP up so you can grind the higher level zones more efficiently, so you make more money with the Distos, okay? Making more money, and you're doing a lot more damage, okay? Later on, we will transition very likely to Narcs, okay? 50 Vells sitting on the EU market. Well, in NA, they are not. If the Vel is sitting, then buy the Vells. For sure, if the Vel is sitting, you need to just buy Vells. But in NA, it's going to take you weeks probably to get your Vel's Heart with an order down, when you could have just bought a Disto, had 5 extra AP or whatever, 10 extra AP, and just moved on, right? I think it's 5 extra AP. Okay. So like, but you're going to need these 3 things. In what order you want to get them in is entirely up to you. If the Vells is there, grab it, right? 3 days for me, but I brought the essence. Yay, so you got lucky. My Garmoth's Heart, you guys are going to get pissed. My Garmoth's Heart, I had to order down for 2 days. Done. All done. The second Garmoth's Heart, I got in 4 days. All done. Like, it's just that easy. Yeah, it's just that easy. So again, like, you're basically gambling about whether or not you're going to get this off the marketplace in a reasonable amount of time. Okay? All right. I bought my Vel's Heart back in my day. I bought my Vel's Heart for 6.4 billion. I stole it. I stole it. That was the price on the marketplace for it back then. I bought it. But yeah, the reason the Vel's Heart is a better upgrade than the Disto is because it gives you a better alchemy stone, so you get more attack and cast speed too. So you just have an objectively better alchemy stone than you had before. The Disto is going to give you 5 like sheet AP basically, but eventually you're going to need all 3 of these next. This is the next things that you work on after you finish all your Tuvala. You get your pens together. Pens to C4, Distos Vel. Now we're at a good amount of DP, so now we're going to go C6, 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 C6. Okay. And at this point, I think you go straight to your Fallen God. So you know to go to C10, grab your Fallen God at Duo. This is the same thing, C10, Fallen God, Duo. Okay? Don't do the gloves yet. Or just do two pieces. 2 pieces. You can do the gloves. Are fine. Because the flame is kind of cheaper for the gloves. But like, whatever you want to do, just only do 2 of them. Okay? So now we're at 374, 287. Now we want to get more AP. At this point, your Jetina should be finished. Okay? And you should already have a Pen Capocia ring. Okay? These should be acquired just by playing the game. Oh my god, I missed a lot of subs. I'm so sorry, guys. Akiata Dubbin Uwu gifted a T1 sub onto B-Kill. B-Kill. Hey girl, how you doing, buddy? That old GM of Snake, that sexy son of a bitch, him. Thanks so much for that gifter. I'm gotta resub for 9 months. What are we naming the baby? Huh? Come on now. Come on now. Thanks so much, God. I really appreciate it. Count Turtle with the brand new sub. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate that. Holy shit, brand new subscriber. Thank you, Count Turtle. Thank you for supporting me. Oh my fucking God, bro. What a goat. There is my boy Ginger Bears with the 10 gifters on the Celtic, Seraphim, Dracovian, Dirty Goody, Chinese characters, I'm not even gonna try, Ant 2S, Bebeo, Ant BDO, fucking Sensei, I am Mathis, and Exploded Armadillo. Welcome to the squadron. Thank you so much, Ginger. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I love the Celestius boys. We love Celestius here. I wish I could review more VODs. They don't submit them anymore. They don't come around anymore. I appreciate it, Ginger. You're a hero. Okay. My God, bro. We just exploded with a bunch of subscriber gaming right now. Okay. All right. So now we have a bunch of DP. I'd like more AP. I'd like more AP at this point. So, if you're a Succession class, if you're only Succession or only Awakening and you don't play the other spec at all for any reason, the Pen Black Star, pound for pound, is probably the best bang for your buck. All right. It is a lot of money, and it is a tough upgrade. Okay, just as a warning. But in terms of AP per silver spent and how much money, like, you're also getting a bunch of extra AP to mobs and stuff too, which is also crazy good. Like, that's probably your bang for your buck. If you play both, if you're like a staff, for example, and you play both, then you're probably better off getting accessories and working your way up slower. Okay? You can go the Goddard route, but I don't really recommend it. If you're going to make it. Like, I don't really recommend making it because, like, you're going to waste a bunch of fail stacks and you could just hit a 5% chance one time and get 9 AP. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. Like, you're just sending it. Still prefer C19 Danny if you play Awakening. No, don't do that. Is it better to buy Fallen God armor and enhance the duo or buy it directly at duo? You need to just... Okay. You need to just get the armor at base, gas it up to C10, and then make it a Fallen God, and then make it duo. Okay? Mainly because the game gives you one free pen, and so that takes the price down dramatically. Also, the guaranteed pens are really cheap, and so again, that takes the price down dramatically. Okay? I don't recommend enhancing Goddard. That's absolutely right. Okay? Now, if you have to just buy it raw, like, then you could consider buying it at base, but then you're going to have to do some calculations as to how much it costs and stuff. But generally speaking, no, you're not going to do that. Okay. Yeah, I don't recommend Goddard very much. It's incremental gains, which is great for some people, so it's easier for them to mentally work through it, but, like, it's easier to just hit the Black Star once, not waste the money on the fail stacks and all the extra Cron Stones and all that stuff. You'd be better off. Okay. Blue 60 bill under 120 bill. Sorry, C19 Dandy for the win for me. That's if you want to do that, that's fine. If you're a Succession player and you want to do this, if you're a Succession player and you want to do something like this, that is your prerogative. But you do miss out on a lot of extra stats, and you also miss out on the monster damage from the Black Star, which doesn't matter so much early in the mid game, but in the late game, it's gonna matter. It's gonna, like, really matter. So, like, I recommend at least just having a Tet Black Star and just let it sit there. And then, like, with your J's hammers, you can just hit the Black Star whenever you want. You know what I mean? It's not really a priority for you, but it is what it is. Okay? He means a C19 Pen Dandy. Nah, I think the Black Star is better. Blue, the C19 Pen Dandy is 66 bill, the Pen Black Star is 120. Again, you're talking about two extremely end-game, late-game builds, and the Black Star is giving you a bunch more monster damage. So, like, it's just going to make you more money overall. There's a reason why... Like, do you think Choice has does Choice have a C19? No. Does Dunzo have a C19? Does anyone who is, like, 730 plus gear score have C19 weapons except for maybe Huntler? My Hunt Dog. I think NA Huntler has a C19. It is definitely a viable build, but again, he's griefing himself. And honestly, he's not griefing himself. He only wants to do PvP. Altler doesn't grind. Ever. For any reason. So yeah, then the C19 Dandy's fine. If you don't grind at all, then yeah. But 99% of BDO players are going to be grinding. Yeah, so like if you really only do PvP, yeah, you could do a C20 Pendandy or a C20 Zarka. Okay, sure, whatever. But like we're doing this guide for the majority of players. We're doing the Black Stars. Okay. All right, so we're at 293 here. We want some AP. Again, do not do the Debo. The whole Debo route is outdated. It literally costs 93 bill for 4 AP. That is dumb. Only get the Ogre or the Latents, whichever one is cheaper. Buy that one. Okay, that's the route that you need to go. C20 Zarka Enjoyer. Ellie, you built that in 2018. And you're too lazy to change it over. You're welcome. I'm not going to advise a new player to do that. If you started playing today, you would have done the Black Star almost guaranteed. Because you just would have one-tapped it with your streamer client. Did you get that? Corruption sent it over to us. We run on a special client. Easy Pen Black Star. All right, so Pen Ogre puts us at 298. All right, how are we getting to 301, boys? How are we getting to 301? Boom. There it is. Okay, so if you're an Awakening build, you can either go for the Black Star, or you can do this. Okay. Now, keep in mind, you're still short of 301 in the Succession version. You're like, oh my god, it's so annoying. It is annoying, because then you have to get another pen accessory to get there. Okay, so like at some point you're gonna need a pen Black Star to put you over the top. All right, now if you're a DR build, you're going the Voltara. Don't look at the Tungrad. Don't look at the fucking Bassy belt. Don't look at just you're going the Voltara. Okay, but what if I'm a Zerker? Buy the Voltara belt. Shut up. Okay, you're gonna buy the Ruins ring too. Again, do not buy a Crescent ring. Do not buy a fucking Tungrad ring. Do not buy your mom's ring. Don't get your grandma's ring. No Ruby ring. Fuck all that shit. You're gonna get a Ruins ring, and you're gonna like it. Okay? And you're gonna put the HP on both of your rings. HP cups for both rings. It's very imperative that a DR build has a big HP pool. We talked about this before. Okay? The DR build needs a really big HP pool to make the DR worthwhile. The more HP you have, the more damage you can absorb. Does that make sense? Evasion, we don't need HP. We're not getting hit. It's that easy, right? DR definitely needs the HP pool. Okay, even if you only do PvE. Yep. Even Suck Ranger takes AP. We talked about this before. You have to be able to survive chip damage on Suck Ranger, and it's strictly better to run the HP in capped PvP. It's still better to run HP. However, some Rangers do run the crit damage. I don't think that it actually does anything useful for them, but like you can make the case on a ranged class to run the crit rings. I still don't recommend it because you have to be able to survive damage. What you're doing when you build the crit damage rings is you're saying, but if they're dead, then they can't shoot me. So I am tankier. That's what you're saying. Okay? And like I just every once in a while, like yeah, sure, that helps. But like I do recommend the HP for basically everything. Again, the title belt, You never use this belt upgrade. This is for stupid people. You always build the title belt. The only reason to ever build this one is if the title one isn't available on the marketplace. Okay. What are the HP capped for different node wars? Okay, well that's in game. You just mouse over the node that you want. All right, I will show you one time. We'll cut this out of the VOD in post. Top right, you click these cross swords up here. You mouse over the node that you want, and it tells you see all those stats right there on the right side, stat limits. Okay, you can see all the different stats for the various different tier node wars. All right, big dog. All right. Okay. So, this is how we got to 301, and this sucked. This sucked. I will say, though, that once you have 3 of your pen accessories, if you play Succession and Awakening, and you have 3 of your pen accessories, okay, well then once you do get the pen Black Star, you're fucking good, bud. You're good. You're totally fine. Okay? But some people do this. I'm just going to change these down to 10. Pretend those are Capotias. Okay. Some people just do this. They go pen. They go pen. It's doable, but it's really expensive. It's really expensive. Really, really expensive to do that. I recommend just picking, if I'm being honest, I recommend picking the spec that you play more, or the spec that you play in PvE, and you get the pen black star for that one first. Okay? Because that's going to put you at 302. Okay? Then you can start getting pen this, pen this, and this. Okay? All right. Now we're at the 301 bracket. Once you hit the 301 bracket, however you decide to get there, whether it be the pen black stars or the pen accessories, okay? Once you're at the 301 bracket, it's time to get more DP. Can we get DP and how? The first thing we're going to do is get the pegs, okay? The blue one is the DR one. Make sure you're getting the blue Dawn's gloves, okay? That's the DR one, okay? You're also going to upgrade your Vells heart to the exalted version, okay? Now we're at 388, okay? Honestly, at this point, this should be C9. You should always... The boots, remember, we're going to get the new boots soon. So if you're watching this guide and we already have the new boots, then yeah, put the boots at duo. Okay, but for now, we're just going to hold them at C9 because that's where we need to go. That's where I need to go. Range class is AP pooling. What is it? But, like, you can make the case on a ranged class to run the crit rings. I still don't recommend it because you have to be able to survive damage. What you're doing when you build the crit damage rings is you're saying, but if they're dead, then they can't shoot me. So I am tankier. But, like, you can make the case on a ranged class to run the crit rings. There's like some fuzz on my beard in that clip. It's like actually tilting the shit out of me. We're fine. Okay. All right. So we've got this. We got this at duo. It's still there. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! So we've got these at duo. I've lost my train of thought. All right, we want to hit 305. How are we gonna hit 305? That's the fun part. You don't. Okay, so this is gonna suck. Remember, you are a DR class. You really don't want to Caphras your Kudum. You are a Nuver class. All right, so let's look at where we're at with the Nuver. At this rate, you're at 317, 380. I still think you need more DP. Okay, I still think you need more DP. Okay, so let's get to 401 DP with a Kudamon and see where we're at there. Okay, it disturbs. What the fuck is that emote? Oh my god, I just cringed a little. I think my balls just retracted into my body. Thank you so much for that. That was good. Okay, so you're probably gonna have C20 boots one way or another. You're probably gonna have the new boots that are coming out in, like, I don't know, a week or two. All right, we're getting the new boots in a week or two, so you're probably going to have access to the new boots at that point. Either, or you probably are going to have C20. Okay, so you're going to be 398 DP. Okay. Fake A2R boots on... Oh. Okay. Well, there you go. All right. There it is. All right, so leave it at C9 until the boots come out. But once you have the boots... Okay, we're at 398. That means you only have to do one thing. You just need one try Dead God to hit 401. This is such an important bracket for DP builds. I mean, for DR builds. Okay? DR builds need to have 401 DP. Okay? It is the last bracket in the sequence, and it gives you 30% extra DR. I know what you're asking me. Blue, what does extra DR mean? We have no fucking idea. They won't tell us. Presumably, it means that you get 30% more overall DR from what you already have, but who fucking knows, to be honest with you. But this is a good bracket. You need to hit this. Okay? All right. So we're at 401 DP. Let's look where we're at with the Nuver now. Where are we at with the Nuver? 389. Okay, that's a little bit better. But understand that we need to hit 401 Nuver. That is going to be quite a lot harder than hitting 401 Kudum, because Nuver has a lot less DP on it. We're going to do this a different way, though. We're going to do this a different way. Maybe we'll get there. Yeah, we're going to narc time soon, TM. Soon, TM. Okay. First, pen your black stars. Penning your black stars is probably the most important thing that you're going to do at this point. Either you need, if you only play one spec or another, which is most people in the game, just get one pen black star. Okay? You need one pen black star. Okay? And I get it, guys. I get it. But the black star has to come first because you're going to lose AP when you take the distos off. So shut up. Okay. So, then you need pen narcs. As everyone keeps saying in the chat, you need to get off these distos. This is the best way to do this. I'm going to 5-head this. Are you ready? You're going to sell both Tet distos. You're going to buy a pen narc with that money. Then you're going to go to Jetina and you're going to say, baby, that ass is fine. And you're going to turn your Jetina into the other pen narc. Narcs are done. Narcs are done. You're going to be on a pen caposha like a homeless person for a while, but that's okay. But that's okay. When you replace this ring, you're replacing it with a Ruins ring. Okay? Shouldn't you have the distos for PvE? Fuck that. Narcs. I'm just saying, this is the easiest way to transition to narcs. You take your Jetina pen, you move it over, and then you buy the other one by selling the 2 distos. Okay? Now, once you... Okay, then you got to replace your ring, though. So you just got to bear that in mind. You're going to have to replace your ring. Okay? Then you're 305, 307, 419. Bet. Where are we at with Kudum? I mean, where are we at with Nuver? 407. We're there. We're there. Okay. This is what a DR build looks like in the Super Endgame. They love narc earrings. They love narc earrings. Now, I have seen people go for Dawn earrings. Okay? Some people go for Dawn earrings, and that's fine. Okay, if you like the accuracy, that's important. But like what a lot of DR builds will do is they like to go for the narcs. Okay? Then they like their HP here, so which means that a lot of them try to do this. This is problematic because you end up with lower stats here. However, understand that you can do the lunar because you're a Nuver build. Okay? So you're still hitting all of the major brackets, and then you have all of your fucking shit. Davis with the T1 gifted sub onto Ellie. I missed it, and I am so sorry. Ellie, welcome to the squadron. I love you. I love you to death. Ellie, absolutely queen. Okay? Thank you so much for that gifted sub, Davis. You're a hero. Okay. Also 16 comma damage. Yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit? A lot of people like to do the lunar. Okay? Some people also like to go Turos as well. Okay? But just understand, if you try to do this, you're going to sacrifice a lot of AP for your like grinding. But like a lot of DR players will just go in life skill instead. Fuck it. We don't need to do it. We're good. We don't care. All right? So like, yeah, I don't really like this because you look at you're getting kind of low on AP here. You're getting kind of low on AP here. Why is this? There we go. But like, you can go for the lunar because remember, in PvP you're kicking ass. Just make sure you save at least your pen caposha so that when you're grinding you can still hit the oh, I guess not the pen caposha. Save your pen ogre. Save your pen ogre, buy the pen caposha to sideboard in so that you can, at least when you're grinding, have the AP to do some fucking damage. Okay? I like the HP on the rings, and I like the DR on the narcs. Super late game, something has to give. Green weapon offhands? No, I'm not. Well, I guess I can talk about that a little bit. But like super late game, remind me in a bit. Super late game builds for DR you either have to give up the narcs, which most people don't do, or they'll give up these and they'll go for ominous rings. Okay, and then you lose a lot of HP this way, though. You lose a lot of HP that way. Okay, so like honestly, like there's no clear solution in the late game for what you're gonna do to make sure that your AP stays up for PvE. But you don't really need to worry about it for PvP. You can just build accuracy out your ass because you can just lean on the Nuver to have AP for days. Okay. Remember, I didn't go over Garmoth's heart for this, but like right around 630 gear score is Garmoth. You need Garmoth pre-order. Same thing for this build, okay? And once you get the first one, put an order down for the next one, okay? So right around 630 gear score is when you want to put down your Garmoth pre-order. What happens if I use my swaps and I can't get the narc? That sounds like a U prop. Then you're just going to have to buy a narc. Buy or make one. That sucks. Is it ideal to use Perillas as DR in PvP? No. The attack cast speed, and just generally speaking, everything else that Vells gives you is just going to be stronger than trying to go for Perillas. Some people say to use Perillas in capped content. That is strictly bad. Do not do that unless you don't have Vells Heart. Okay? Like Perillas, yes, it gives you HP back on hit, but it's actually just kind of dog shit because you're just dead basically instantly. Okay? So like until you get way tankier in capped PvP, Perillas is not going to be worth it. They'd have to change the caps, how the caps work. Now, it is good to use Perillas if you don't have Vells. Did you do the evasion gearing guide? I did that one first. Just remember that you're running Nuver, so you can basically, guys, you could just, at this point in your DR build, you save all of these accessories, okay? And then you just make an extra pen Lunar. And then you just make an extra pen Turos, okay? Like this way, you've got the AP when you need it, and you can just put on what you need for any situation, okay? Evasion's a little bit more cut and dry. You can just make one set for everything. What's the difference between Fiery and Storm Devoured? Okay, yeah, we should go over that. Fiery means you have a Garmoth's Heart. It gives you 2 crystal slots in your Awakening weapon. Storm Devoured means you only get 1 crystal slot in your Awakening weapon, but it drops from Karanda. Okay? I do recommend going to Karanda to get that if you don't have your Garmoths yet. If you have like a Storm Devoured, then put the first Garmoth's Heart in your offhand and then upgrade to the other Garmoths when you are able to get it. Okay? No Caphras in the Nuver endgame? Oh, I mean, I missed it, but yeah, essentially you would just C15 the Nuver, just like you did for the Kudum, right? You can C15 the Nuver, C20 the Nuver, that's fine too. No big deal. Okay, because in the super late game, yeah, you just, the Nuver is what's giving you all your AP, and then you can just run as many accuracy accessories as you want, minus the narcs, basically. So, like, you've got 3 big accuracy accessories here. Most people for DR builds do not go for the Debo route. Well, actually, I mean, they kind of do. But, like, they have to do it. They don't like giving up their narcs. Most endgame DR builds do not like giving up their narc earrings so that you can go for the fucking Debo. Okay? It is strong, but, like, then you have to go... Then you're giving up all of your accuracy here. You're giving up your DR here. You have to go for the Ominous here. Like, what are you going to do? Keep this narc on? Well, no, that kind of has to be a Dawn. Like, that kind of has to be a Dawn. Okay? So you can do this too. I just don't like it as much because it gives you less options overall. Cadre. Yeah, we didn't talk about the Cadre ring, but there are some people that will use Cadres. At this point, like if they're fighting low-geared opponents, Raiden does this a lot. Or like he leaves the Debos on with the Cadres and stuff, and then maybe he puts a narc on too. Okay? Like he's got a lot. This is a super tanky build. This is a super tanky build. Okay? And you've got a lot of AP. And if you're fighting someone that's low gear scored, or a lot of, like a guild that's low gear scored, okay, yeah, you don't need much accuracy to kill those people. You just one-shot them with the Debo stuff, but then you lose a lot of accuracy for this. You could technically leave this as the Disto, or I mean the Dawn, but like, why is the Tungrad belt bad? Most Tungrad accessories are bad in general, and you should not build them. The only reason that people build them is, oh, it helps me hit this bracket. Well, the problem is that late game, that 1 extra AP really is not going to help you with anything because you're already going to be at all the brackets. It doesn't matter. So all that money that you spent on the Tungrad accessory should have been spent on another upgrade. Yeah, you're going to not hit that bracket for a little longer, but eventually you're going to hit that bracket anyway. So wasting the money on the Tungrad is not really super advised. Okay. How about the Artifacts and Lightstone set? Generally speaking, as far as artifacts go, if you're in, if you're talking about PvE, artifacts and lightstones are more specific to class. But like, oh god, what's the crit rate one? It's called Death Blow. Death Blow is the PvE artifact set for most most classes in the game. There are some classes like Dark Knight, for example, that do not need to run Deathblow. There's like probably 5 or 6 classes that don't need to run Deathblow. Deathblow basically gives you critical strike chance, which helps you do way more damage in PvE. Okay, so like I recommend Deathblow for PvE and PvP. If you're talking late game accuracy, just get a bunch of accuracy. You can also run Vicious Shadows in PvP, is really solid. And also there's another one that I'm blanking on the name of. But Vicious Shadows is like special attack damage, and that's pretty good. Yeah, Striker runs Vicious Shadows, that's right. Target openings, that's the other one. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll put those on here. Vicious Shadows. And then target openings. Okay. And these are your PvPs. Okay, this is for PvP. You can also run these for PvE if your class doesn't need to run Deathblow. Okay. All right. Okay. Now we're gonna go over crystals real quick. Go to the crystal view. Wait, how do you do crystals for create new? Oh, I've never done this. Oh, okay. All right. Let's look at PvE crystals first. Where's that tier at? Can I not search? Oh, there is a search. I'm crazy. It's right here. There we go. Gear and steer for PvE. How long would it take to get that gear for a casual? Probably about 1.5 years. 2 years. I mean, some people play really casually, so they're AFK all the time. That's going to take you 2 or 3 years, probably, big man. But if you're grinding relatively regularly, 1.5 years to 2 years. If you're playing full time, 8 months, 6 months. Like Choice hit 700 gear score on his EU account, basically playing full time, and he did it in like what, 70 days or something. There's some stupid shit. It was crazy. It was crazy. All right. So for PvE, oh Lucas. Oh Lucas. Akrods. Akrods. Choice is built different, that's right. It helps when you just succeed on everything. That's the secret. Rebellious are really good, especially for DR builds. I recommend the move speed one for PvE for sure. Unless you're not at +5 crit. You should be at +5 crit if you're buffing yourself correctly. So the move speed helps you get back to back faster. Yeah, this is the expensive crystal build. I'll do the budget crystal builds for you guys here in a second. But like basically you're going to run the 2 Elcars here. Some people like using Jin spec evasions in PvE because it makes them tankier. If you're at a really, really high-end spot and you're worried about dying, Jin spec evasions are not a bad idea. Okay? But if you're at like a mid-end spot, you're not really worried about dying, you don't have to run these. You can run like resistances or something if you don't want to. You've never had sex before 3 months. Choice took longer, okay? He had a little sex. Little sex. Okay, so what a lot of people do is they like to put this power crystal in here. They like to just pump power crystals into their gear. What is this? I don't like these. I would rather run, if you're going to run a back attack crystal, I would rather run... Honestly, have we thought about Macalots? You know what I'm saying? Where are the new back attack crystals at, bro? What are those things called? Does anyone know what the new back attack crystals are called? Like, if you're really concerned with darkness... Am I crazy? I'm crazy. Can't because of corrupted. Oh, I see. Yeah, so you have an option here. You can run corrupteds or you can run the back attack crystals. If you're at a spot that is strictly like all back attack damage, running the back attack crystals is better than corrupteds. Like Olin's, for example, is a good one. The Mysterious Darkness Crystals. Olin's is a good example where basically everything you're going to do is behind them. Right? Lower Gryphon is another good one. Right? But like Corrupteds are generally speaking what most people are going to go to. Okay. As for your last crystal, I'm going to give you a couple variations on this. It depends on what you need. Some people like to run like, oh, I keep getting stiffened or whatever the fuck, or I keep getting KD'd like Ash Forest. You want to run 100% KD resist? Yeah, you can put some adamantines in your build. Some people like to run more combat EXP. Some people like to run evasion if they're an evasion build, so they run Harfias. Some people like that back attack crystal that he just suggested. So this crystal of decimation is super fine. This is totally doable. Okay. Ultimate. Okay, I was going to talk about the Macalods. Okay, so the Macalods for PvE, I'll be honest, juiced. Macalods for PvE are juiced. I would take these out and I would put Max in. If you're strictly like trying to min-max your PvE build, I really like these. They're nice. They're nice. Okay. These give a bunch of extra hidden AP. They give hidden AP for set effects. So if you have 4 of them, you get 5 more AP. If you only have 2 of them, you get 5 more AP. So, okay. So if you have 2 of them, you get 5 more hidden AP. If you have 4 of them, you get 10 more hidden AP. And then each of them has 3 hidden AP on it. You're basically just getting, just going crazy. And your ignore all resist. Nobody really cares about that. Stamina. If you're a stamina intensive class or your pack to pack is not super great. And it also gives you combat EXP, which you can't go wrong with, right? Thoughts? Infinity gives plus 10%. What are you talking about? So, like, this is also a viable endgame PvE build. Like, if you're doing super, like, this is very expensive, though. Look how expensive this crystal setup is. 16.6 billion just on the crystals. Okay? Should use Frozen Bitterness for more DR. In PvE, usually not, because you're not really worried about dying. If you're worried about dying, then I would take this out, and I would take probably... just do this. Put that back in. If you're worried about dying, you can do this. And you take this out for spec evasions. Okay? If you're worried about dying, it's this. Okay. Tier, hello, tier. There is a tier here, but it's PvE. So, like, I'm saying that, like, you probably don't want to sacrifice... you don't want to sacrifice 10% drop rate, probably. Unless you're really concerned about... Like this is... You're gonna live, bro. Like, if you have, like, a feasible amount of DP on... If you are actually sweating balls and think you're gonna die... Yes, you can go to the high tase tier. Okay, that is doable. But, like, most people are probably not gonna give up the 10% drop rate. Even at a high-end spot. Just because 10% drop rate is kind of a lot of money. Okay? 16 bill if available on the market. That's fair. Okay? What is this? Oh, it's Fabby. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is fine. You can go for the high taste tier here, though. Like, I'm going to have a high taste tier in PvE, but that's because I'm too cheap to buy the Girins right now. So, like, high taste, in my opinion, is the best overall crystal in the game, just because of it, it gives you... like defensive stats, man. Like I really don't like that. This is like a middle of the road, and then this is like PvE. I like high taste for PvP just because defensive stats are tougher to come by. Getting one shot is much more of a problem than just one shotting your opponent. Longwa for accuracy. You can try to do, yeah, but most people are getting their accuracy from other aspects of their build. Longwa is for poor people. Yeah, like I would not build this. For the most part, I would build either Girins or Haite. That's what most people go for. 5% drop rate. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so like if you're like a really high-end spot, you're like pseudo worried. Like, okay, yeah, you could do this, but even then, Girins is just objectively better in my opinion in that case. So this is your PvE. If you want a budget PvE set, you go normal L cars because these are giga cheap. Okay. Take these out. These are for like really lower end players. Maybe you're in Tuvala, etc., and you don't want to spend a crap load of money on crystals. Okay. The max are really good because you probably still need combat EXP at this stage of your build. And also you need, it also gives you stamina. And most of those like low end spots are very stamina intensive because you have to go pack to pack very quickly. Rebellious, you probably don't need. That's like 3.2 bill right there. You could probably run, instead of those, you can run. What do we run? What do we run instead, boys? What do we run? Can we just run these? Can we just run the powers, bro? Awakened Spirit. No, not Awakened Spirit. Dark Red Fangs. That's a good choice, too. This one. This is pretty good. It's only 220 mil. Hidden AP plus 5. Critical hit plus 2. I don't know. I think the powers are better. Most people are going to have 5 crit. You just run the powers. Okay, how else can we bring this down? You're probably not going to have a tier at this point. Prob's not going to have a tier, but if you do have a tier, you can just... The poor man's tier. The poor man's tier. Karma is much cheaper. If you need crit really badly, you can just run one of these bad boys. You can run critical hit plus 1, or you can run attack. If you're class scaled with attack cast speed instead, you can run that instead. But like, I still like the Swifties. Okay. This is like a cheaper build. I like the Olukas and Akarad still, even in this build. Okay. If you don't want to build these yet, that's fine. You can probably put in, like if you're really early game, oh god, am I about to suggest the Gervish Crystal? That's where we're at. It's so bad. The Gervishes are really not super worth it. Yeah, you could just do more powers. Where's the... Can I not put any more of these? No, that's RBF powers. Okay, so you just have to do... You just have to do these now. You can put as many of these as you want in this. Yeah, you can kind of just juice it up with a bunch of power crystals. Now you're down at like less than 5 bill. If you take the tier out, put another power in, you're at 2.7 bill. Okay, this is about as cheap as you're gonna get. If you're really early game, you should have Kydex. That is true. So instead of these, you would have 2 Kydex. And you might get one of these from the event. So like put in as many Kydex as you want if you're leveling, right? But like once you're done leveling, assuming you're done leveling up, like you're like level 62, okay, you're done. You're running powers. Okay. Now, as far as PvP, this is where this is gonna get dicey. Okay. What's up, Clicks? How you doing, big man? All right. Now we're gonna do the PvP endgame PvP crystal builds. Swiftness. All right, this one will be Evasion. Okay. Jin Harfias. Really good. Can't go wrong with Jin Harfias. High taste here. Can't go wrong with high taste here. Yeah, there. 4 Hooms. Really, really important. For both, honestly, Evasion and DR, the Hooms are fucking juiced. Right? Are you running DR or Evasion on your main? Currently, I'm running Evasion, but I ran DR for many years. So. Okay. So the Hooms are super juiced. Is this capped PvP or is this uncapped? We'll do capped PvP. This is capped PvP. Okay, so we're gonna run Corrupteds. I like running Akrods on my capped setup and Olu. Honestly, I like running Olucos too. I think that like I like the attack cast speed that these give, to be honest. You need Rebellious really bad. There they are. There they are. Okay. And then if this is capped, you probably don't need accuracy in your end game. Gin spec evasions, you probably need 1 gin spec evasion. Depending on whether or not which cap you're on. Sometimes the cap is going to require 2 gin spec evasions. Sometimes it's only going to require 1. Okay. Bitterness. I don't think that the bitternesses really apply in capped. Yeah, you don't need this for capped PvP. Should be overcapped evasion at this point. True. If this is capped, we don't need Harfias. That was a good catch. Alright. Probably do need the Elcars, though. Because you're an evasion build, you're probably a little short on accuracy. But if you're not short on accuracy, it's actually not a bad idea to run, like, 2 max here. But, like, you lose... It's really just for the stamina. If you're a stamina person, 2 max is not a bad idea. Macalods are not a bad idea. Also... that's 100 HP. But, like... Yeah, I'd rather have 2 of these. Bond is 150? Really? Wait, really? Wait, holy shit. Wait, I didn't even know that. Wait, holy shit. Wait, that's juiced. Never mind. We're running that. I had no idea that that was like that. You learn something new every day. Yeah, but we don't give a shit about the fucking... It's like, oh yeah, you get less DR. Yeah, I don't fucking care. I want that HP, bro. This is capped. This is capped PvP. Okay. So this is fine. And 1 gin spec evasion so that you can meet that cap. This is a really good, like, end game evasion cap PvP crystal build. Okay. Technically, you can sub out things here or there if you're trying to min-max certain aspects of your build, but really you're just looking for a lot of HP and a lot of special attack damage. Okay. Can you share the link of this build? This will be on YouTube as the an ultimate gearing guide. I'll put it up in the next couple of days here. Okay, so now let's look at DR. Actually, you know what? Let's look at Evasion Uncapped while we're here. All right, so now if we're on Evasion Uncapped, you definitely need the Harfias. Okay. What else? We got the Haite in here. Man, we need some Elcars probably. You're probably gonna need some accuracy. Yeah, I think that the Elcars are really fucking good because they give you... It's the... Ignore all resist. That's what I'm looking for. The ignore all resist that's really good. Jin Vipers, I don't think they're as good as the Elcars are. Like... Yeah, I don't think they're as good as the Elcars are. Maybe you're running, instead of Akrods, you're going to run the Vipers. You could technically do this. If you're fighting against really geared people, yeah, run the Vipers. But like, usually you're not going to be fighting people, unless you're fighting a top 5 siege guild, or a top 3 siege guild, you're probably not going to need the Vipers with the Elcars. If you're fighting someone in the open world, you're probably just going to need the Elcars. Flower Cam with the raid of 52. Holy crap. All of my mods are on union break, so I will give you the shout out. Flower, hey girl, hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for the raid, big man. I really appreciate it. Everybody coming over from Flower Stream, I hope you're having a good one. Hodeem with the prime sub, back for 3 months. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much, Hodeem. Enjoy that new sub badge, big man. You're a hero. Okay. What up, Washed? How you doing, big man? But you can't shout yourself out, dude. What? Did you just shout yourself out? Is this a joke? Is this a joke? Is this a prank? Are you fucking kidding me right now? You fucking idiot. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I mean, if he wants to shout himself out, let's take a look. You have 35 fucking follows and you don't stream at all. So why in the fuck would you shout yourself out? Okay. It was a meme. Yeah, that was dumb. Okay. Endgame evasion build. This is what it looks like. You might be able to take out the corrupteds for back attack damage. But I like the corrupteds more. So ban... No, I'm not going to ban them, but like the... There you go. Can I shout myself out for no memes? No. Stop shouting yourselves out. You guys are stupid. What is this? Oh, we'll react to that tomorrow. We'll react to that tomorrow. That's probably going to be a juicer vid. That's going to be a juicer vid tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need to change anything else here. This is an endgame evasion build. Okay. This is probably going to be about 15.8 bill. Yeah, about 16 bill. All right, now let's do DR. This will be uncapped because we already did capped. That's like capped for both is the evasion. So now if you're doing DR, you don't need the Harfias. The Hooms are critical if you're doing DR or evasion. It's just really good, dude. You can't go wrong with those things. They're so good. I think the spec evasion is probably pretty good. Yeah, you need 2 spec evasions in an endgame build. I think I fucked that up for evasion. I fucked that up. You need 2 spec evasions. So only 1 Viper. Take one of the Vipers away, put your other spec evasion in. I'm sorry I fucked that up. Endgame DR build, you need 2 spec evasions. You don't need as much accuracy necessarily speaking. However, this is not a bad crystal for you. This is not a bad crystal. What if I have like 50 mil to work with? Just put those main story crystals that they keep giving you. Just throw those in there, big champ. You're gonna be just fine. Okay. What am I missing for DR here? Maybe you get rid of the corrupteds? For the back attack damage stuff? Because then you don't lose DR, but like even then, like I don't know. I think that the corrupteds are still better. But like you could make a case for the back attack damage. The combat EXP goes crazy in Node Wars. Very funny. Yeah, honestly, it's basically the same for DR. Okay? But you're not putting in Harfias, you're putting in a frozen crystal of bitterness probably instead. Okay? Use the 10% crit. Those don't lose DR. No. No. No reaction today? We might. Although I might wait for it tomorrow. Now, if you're worried about the DR you're losing from corrupteds, just put on the darkness crystals. These don't lose DR. It's a crap load of back attack damage. Okay? Okay? But like I do think that the corrupteds are probably better because they're just better all around. It's just more damage on your crits is probably going to be more valuable than the back attack damage. No human damage? No. Unless you... Okay, so this is like a tankier build. This is like a tankier frontline DR build. Okay, this is assuming you're like a guardian or something. Okay. If you're a backliner, you don't need this. shit. You probably don't even need the fuck the rebellious. You don't need that. You're probably gonna go for this human damage bullshit. Which one of these gives you the crazy human damage? 10, 3, 5. Okay, the Vipers. Okay, there we go. Viper again. And you're probably running 7s, 5, 8, 8. So you're running a Karme. I don't know if I like the Karme. I think the Corrupteds are probably better on a ranged class, like a Ranger or an Archer, just because you're probably not going to be back attacking your opponent very much. Red Spirit. What does this give me? Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that one. I like that one. I like this one more, but I also like this one. Yeah, this is big damage. This is damage. Technically, you could take out your spec evasions too, but like... I like the accuracy on your... if you're a ranged class and you're an uncapped, you need the accuracy. Do not sacrifice your accuracy. This... unironically... sure. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot you can do. You could do ignore resist, sure, but like this is what most rangers are probably going to go for. They might take out the spec evasions if they're really trying to turbo their AP stats or like their offensive stats, but like this is generally speaking what a DR uncapped, this is what like a ranger, archer, something like some ranged classes. Okay. The other one is a melee DR build. Okay. Why Whom's? Because it gives you a stupid ass amount of accuracy. It's giving you 8 plus another 8 is 16 accuracy. Yeah, it's giving you 16 accuracy overall, and then like the HP defensive stat. I mean, like the Whom's are just amazing regardless. Technically, you could dump these for more offensive stats, but like I think the accuracy is almost just better. In most cases. Okay. 16 accuracy for 4 crystals. You know? But like you're also getting all resistance, bunch of DR, bunch of evasion, bunch of fucking HP. Full blast archer crystals. Let me see. Okay, so we've got these, got these, got these. Oh, you went Macalods. So you went 2 Max, and then you went 2 red spirit crystals. So you did this. So instead of running these, and this is not bad because most ranged classes struggle with stamina issues sometimes. So like the Macalods are not bad. Okay, running 2 red spirit crystals is okay. What else are you missing? What am I missing here? Yeah, you ran a Karme. Ugh, gosh. I don't think the Karme is worth it, but you can do this build. Yeah, I would rather just see you run... fuck the Karme, fuck the red spirit, and then run 4 max instead. You could run ignore KD here too. Yeah. Ignore KD. There it is. Okay, this is also an option. This is also an option. Yeah, 4 max. Yeah, like it's what you value more. If you like stamina more and like having a lot more hidden AP, okay, yeah, sure, the max. But like if your class has a lot of knockdowns like Ranger does, ignoring knockdown resist is really good. Really, really good. Right? So like yeah, full blast. Yeah, exactly. So like there's a number of different things you can do for a ranged class. This is just like, you know, these are a few of the different builds that you can go for. The DP classes or the frontline classes have a lot less options. You're basically just stacking as much AP as you can with the Whom's and stuff. You basically have to run Whom's. Okay, I think that's covered basically all of the capped and uncapped crystal setups that are really solid in BDO. I know that somebody asked for a T1 crystal setup. I don't think there's any spec evasion allowed in T1s. And you're only allowed to, so you need 5k HP. So you need 5k HP. Human damage isn't going to help you in T1s. The accuracy is probably not going to help you, but the L-cars will. Yeah, the L-cars help you. They added 20% spec evasion on T1s. Never mind. You need the... Because you probably don't have a Garmoth's Heart if you're on T1 Node Wars. So you're probably going to need both of those. Okay. Bongwa's tier is fine for T1s, but like honestly, it's not really helping you at all except for the ignore all resists. Like it's kind of just whatever. Like this is just like on T1s, you're really looking for special attack damage, and then honestly, max are really not a bad idea. Mainly because it's going to give you a lot of stamina, and then it gives you a lot of ignore resist too, right? People are stacking resistances on T1s. This is not a bad idea, okay? You also can run the ignore resist crystals, are also fine. Olukas are very important. And so are Akrods. Here we go. Now, okay, so you need to make sure you're at 5k HP. Okay, so if you're not at 5,000 HP, you can't run this. Okay, you've got to make sure that you're at 5k HP. I think Rebellious is the best bang for your buck in terms of HP per crystal. It's like 175 HP. So make sure you're at 5k HP. Okay, you don't need siege evasion on T1s. They literally just said, oh, you mean the siege evasion crystal? No, because like they just changed how Node Wars work. T1s are kind of a clown fiesta now. So yeah, you don't need siege evasion. The tier, I have the tier. It's right there. You don't really need this though. All that it's really helping you with in T1 is ignore all resist plus 2%. That's kind of what it's helping you with. You can kind of just get rid of it. Will this be on YouTube? Absolutely it will. You bet your sweet bippies. You bet your sweet bippies. You could technically run 2 Hooms and get like the 2 set effect to get some more HP. You need to make sure you're at 5k HP. Okay? How would I know if I reached the capped accuracy? Well, you would open up your map. You would mouse over a T1 zone. You would mouse over a T... You would... There we go. Okay, first try. And then all the stats are right here. All right, all the stats are right here. You notice I hit all the stats when my gear is on, right? Like, you're good to go. T2 is also technically considered a T1 node war now, so to be clear, we're also talking about tier 2 node wars. Okay? But like, you can basically hit T1 caps with Tet Tuvala, but then you need to make sure that you're hitting 5k HP. You cannot do this if you're not at 5k HP. If you really want to juice up your AP, or your HP, you need to look at the previous crystal builds that we talked about. Maybe go 4 Hooms, couple Rebellious, etc. That will give you a lot more HP. The Kobilingus, the Bond Kobe's are really good. Run Zareth armor, very funny. What the hell even is Zareth armor? No shot. HP recovery plus 5. That is the dumbest. That is the stupidest fucking idea I have probably ever heard. There we go. And I listened to Cade Games last week. The helmet blue. Ignore knockdown bound resistance plus 15%. All right. But like, don't do that. Like, realistically, don't do that. Unless you're like, if you're on tier 1s because you've never had sex before and because you're bad at PvP and you like just shitting on brand new players because they're the only ones that you can actually beat, then yeah, the Zareth helmet is a good option. That's not a bad idea. Okay, but everyone else should probably not do that. All right. Armor set is 200 stamina. Again. Yeah, Rourke. Please see previous statement, big dog. All right, let's talk very briefly about green offhands. Let's talk very briefly about these. Okay. There are various green offhands in the game. I think the Vanguards is the... I really want ultimate green. Yes. Okay. So, you can run accuracy offhands. Okay. There's also evasion offhands that help you as well. Every single class has a green offhand that they can upgrade to yellow for like free. It's like 5 mil. So like it's basically yellow. When we're talking about green offhands, we're also talking about yellow offhands. Okay, that's why it's yellow. But this gives you, you'll notice this gives you a massive amount more. Wait, this isn't accuracy. Vanguards. 108. There we go. I had it right the first time. Okay. Yeah, I did have it right the first. I knew it, dude. Okay. So, you'll notice that has 108 accuracy on it. Okay? That's a massive amount of accuracy. Now, you're also sacrificing a fair amount of stats, to be clear. Okay? A fair amount of stats. This is probably not what an endgame build looks like. You're probably running like... I don't know. Let's just put this on it. Oh, God, I hate the crescent ring tilts the shit out of me. But, like, that's fine. We'll just leave it. It's fine. No, let's just put narcs on because this is a DR build. Let's just throw the narcs on. Fuck it. And then fine, I'll do the. There we go. All right. Okay, and then that should probably be a dawn. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Well, like you really only want to put this on, this big accuracy accessory on, or this accuracy offhand on when you're hitting certain brackets. Okay, so as people get into the late game, this is a very cheap way to get a lot of accuracy very quickly. It is not nearly as effective as having pen accuracy accessories. However, if you are homeless and have no money, this is just very cheap alternative. It's very easy to get. You can get it in like 1 hour, just bang, straight to pen. No big deal. Or you just buy, honestly, I recommend just buying it and then upgrading it. And you're good to go. It's pretty easy. Accuracy accessories are much harder and much more expensive. Throwing a lot of stats on evasion, though. Okay, yeah, so now we're going to talk about evasion. Now we're going to talk about an evasion offhand. You are not putting an evasion offhand on a guardian, mind you. I don't know. Pick an evasion class. Striker. Okay. Honestly, I'm a leg guy. We're going to do the mystic. Okay, boys? There we go. Let's do Kudum. 10, 20. Oh, I don't know why I just did that. 10. 10. There we go. Evasion. I think I got it all. Yeah, evasion. All right. So now you're going to look at a lot of people in order to get a lot tankier really, really quickly. Go Kuno, she's evasion. Okay. Is it the leather or is it the Rosar? I think it's Rosar. Let's try leather. This one gives you... That's their accuracy. Leather is accuracy. Okay. Yeah. And then Rosar is... I'm pretty sure your evasion. Yeah. So you'll notice how much evasion that's giving you. That's like over 100 evasion. Right? And a bunch of DP, right? It's going to make you way, way tankier. Okay. However, you sacrifice a massive amount of AP to do this. So, like, you need to be pretty late game to make sure that this is going to work for you. Okay? Can you explain percent evasion on classes? Does it scale with raw evasion? Do you mean the percent evasion that's on the Node War? Like this shit? Do you mean this percent evasion? Well, this is percent. Yeah, there's a evasion rate percent. Class passives. You mean this? Like if I'm on an evasion class and it's giving me 1% each time, kind of like this, yeah, it's scaling with your total evasion. So if you have higher total evasion and this is giving you 1% more evasion, you're getting more out of that passive. That's why you go evasion on those classes, which we talked about earlier in the guide. Okay. There are other options that you can go for. You do not have to go for an Evasion Vambrace, okay? If you want to keep the Fiery Kudamon, because keep in mind, you lose your Garmoths when you do this. Okay? You lose Garmoths when you put on the green offhand. Okay? Some people like to do this build in Evasion. Yeah, but you'll notice that their AP is really fucking low. However, they are never probably going to die ever for any reason. They're probably never going to fucking die. They have Tungrad too. Yeah, I mean, they can have Tungrad rings. That's fine. Centaurs with Debo neck works well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can also do this. But like Sissels, just understand that Sissels and Centaurs are good options to sideboard in when you feel like you need a little more evasion or a lot more evasion, and you can sacrifice some damage. Okay, you're gonna have to look at what brackets you can hit for subbing each of them in, but it is a good option. Okay, these are good options for late game evasion players. Okay, some people try to go Orkinrads. I think Orkinrads is one of the most dog shit fucking belts in the game. Some people really like it. I think that you sacrifice way too much AP over a Debo belt. And I think that it just, if you're going to go for a DP belt, you're like, oh, I want an evasion belt. I think you should just go the mile and get the Centaurs. Fuck it. You know, and you can just leave this at a Debo. Like, I don't like Orkinrads almost at all. There's a reason that nobody really runs it. It's just not super great. It's just not super great. Okay, but yeah, this is a super viable build as well. Okay. Normally, okay, by the way, very late game, you're getting Tet Dead Gods. Right? Like, this is basically like the hard capped version. Is like the Tet Dead Gods there. But yeah, you'll notice 751 gear score. Okay. Do we have any questions? It's just not enough of anything. Yeah, like, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you're just running out of stats. You know what I mean? You still die. Well, it depends on who you're fighting. If you're fighting someone with 6 accuracy accessories, yeah, you're fucking dead. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. One very important thing to note for endgame gear, I'm glad somebody in chat brought it up, is you need to get this thing. This is probably the hardest upgrade in the game to obtain currently, aside from Pen Dead God. But having this and upgrading it to max is just a, like, you can see the stat increase over a Vells heart. It's huge. It's absolutely massive. Yeah, let's talk very briefly about what a DP build is going to look like for a shy. Let's look at like a shy. I also run a full DP build when I'm shotcalling, unless we're uncapped. Alright, so it's the ultimate Rosar Viclari offhand. 90 fucking evasion. You're also running Resplendent, although it should be Exalted. Yeah, Exalted, Resplendent, Alchemy Stone of Protection. You are running... what are these things called? Ethereals. You need... Not Arboreal. You don't need Arboreal. You can run Tet Arboreals or Tet Ethereals. Like, if you're looking at really endgame, fuck it, we'll just do pens, right? And then you can... Now, okay, this is going to be controversial. Let's do the rest of them first. You have the Centaurs, and then this last one is the River Neck. Boom. Okay, so you have the Centaurs, Ethereals, River Neck. Now, if you are this late game, I really, really do... Ruby Manos, no. This is really late game. Ruby Manos is really only for people that don't want to build Tet Ethereals. These are better. I don't give a shit. These are way better. If you're really late game on the shy, and like in general, the Kadris with the HP, because you can put cups on Kadri rings. You put HP on Kadri rings, and you're fucking gaming. These are way fucking better. If you're in the mid game and you're below like 715 gear score, okay, Jesus, believe it or not, are actually typically stronger. Okay, so you see most Shis are going to have this Jesus. Okay, most Shis are going to have Jesus, but understand that they don't get to have cups on them. Okay, you're talking about what, 21 evasion against 20 DR and 225 HP. I would argue that the DR is better, especially in the late game. Okay? So I think that the pen cadres, if you're going to pen, it's better. But if you're sitting on like Tet stuff, then the Jesus is probably better. Alright? This is what a late game DP build looks like. Okay? And obviously all your crystals are just the super tanky, get like the crazy amounts of stats. Whooms are very important. DR saves you against accuracy stacking people. That's absolutely right, Sids. Rosehar main hand for ignore resist. You can absolutely do that. Yeah. Rosehar, yeah, the Rosehar flow ring, this has a set effect. So if you're running both Rosehars, you get ignore all resist plus 10%, which is really good for your bongos and different things like that. So he's absolutely right. You should run this. I'm glad you caught that. Thank you. That's really good. Okay. Most classes are probably not going to do this, but this is for Shy. Now, very importantly for Shy, you need to be running Evasion accessories, or I mean artifacts, and then you need to run, I don't know, what is blur? What the fuck is blur? There's like an iridescent, and then there's like there's a set. Oh, pick set. Oh, thank God. There it is. Ah, there we go. Blur. You're going to run blur. Okay. This is 1 mind, 1 iridescent, 1 waves, and 1 iron wall. Blur basically takes all your resistances away from you, but gives you way higher fucking evasion and DR. You gotta run blur with a DP set. Gotta run blur with a DP set. Yep. Okay. So this is what a super endgame DP set looks like. Obviously, you have your Changa tome on, because you're a fucking gamer. Okay. All right. I believe I have gotten through all of the relevant builds in the game. Any questions? Any questions? I think I covered it all. Hell of a guy. Hell of a guy. Costume for 1 DP. Yeah, you can technically do this Hunter's Clothes costume and get 1 extra DP out of it. You can do that. That is doable. That's really sweaty, but you can do that. Yeah, if we're talking strictly about an endgame build, there you go. That's a tilter. That's a tilter. That is a wrap on my ultimate gearing guide and BDO. Hopefully that was super helpful for you guys.